Hello everyone, welcome back to EON League Season 2, and today we're starting with the Division 1 once again, and the action starts from here. So we are going to have 16 teams competing against each other into a round robin. Each team is going to have one chance only to compete another team of all of the teams that are here today. So first of all, my name is Fancy Pixel, and of course with me is Reprince.
Hi,
How are you,
I'm
Reprince,
doing
today?
pretty good. I'm having some trouble with my skin, so I'm gonna try and show my good side today. But other than that, I'm doing well. I was expecting to cast with Dianic today, but something came up once again. She just really likes dodging me on broadcast, so instead I'm joined by you, Fancy. You were supposed to host us, but instead I get another opportunity to cast with you, and I'm looking forward to it. It's always great to cast with you. Always a big
Change of
joy.
roles. We maybe I'll sharpen my hosting skills sometime later, and now we can just focus on my casting skills. But without further ado, of course, as I said, this is the stage or season 2 of the Eon League, and now we're into the Division 1. So we will have two teams of the 16 teams qualifying to the playoffs, and then we will have to later, like an earlier stage, and they will have to play more matches, and then the rest of the teams will go to the relegations and will stay in the league as well, but that's will be later on. So for now, we have three matches, and the three matches of the day, I'm very excited to see. What do you think we're into the new stage, and now we're all like we got Oregon removed, we got now having layer. Do you think we'll see layer today, or do you think teams will still?
Well, it's going to be difficult to judge how the teams want to decide to ban maps. I definitely know of one team that are going to ban Lair in all likelihood. I think that. Other than that, I think for the other two games, it's
Mhm.
out there. I don't know. I wasn't expecting to see it in the qualifiers, but when we were casting, I believe it was the Eon quals. There was a day where we just started seeing three layers in a row, and so I can't really judge it. I thought these teams would go with the more standard option of trying to play Clubhouse Chalet and making this the new main rotation for the BO1 maps, just your bog standard just siege maps. But a few teams just went out there and decided to have some fun, so we may as well see a lair here.
Yeah, I remember the day we saw back-to-back layer, and that was completely out of the blue. And we were like, we're not gonna see layer, and then we saw it once, and then we are like, we're not gonna see it back to back, and then we saw it back to back. And then we're like, guys, okay, we get it. Stop playing layer. But I guess we'll have to wait and see what will be the case for today, and overall what the teams have stored for us. So let's start off with a quick introduction of what matches we have today. So the first match we were supposed to have was Milila Titans, I think their name is, and they
Yep.
were playing against No Minis. And unfortunately, Team Milila forfeited the first match. So we will be going with the second match, which is going to be uh, Team Beşiktaş. I hope uh, I hope we see a very intense match because last time we saw both teams in the qualifiers, we saw really good improvement from them and really good siege, I would call.
All right, and with that, we should be able to get uh, a quick look at RIZON's roster, and what we can see is this is a German-speaking roster, mainly German roster, and this is the team of Claudia and Schwarzi. This is you can recognize some of these names. This is definitely a team that's been around T3 just in terms of the names, and even some of the T2 qualifiers that we've seen recently, for instance, the Combine. So definitely something to look forward to. And the other team that we have playing against them today is going to be Beşiktaş. I've casted them plenty of times to the point where I'm able to somewhat pronounce it. Uh, at least I hope so. But I'm curious to see how these two teams match up because I don't think I've seen them necessarily play against each other in a specific way. I'm not sure uh, because I do recognize these names, but I haven't seen them aligned like this before. So hoping to see if maybe we can settle that today between who of these teams is going to take an early lead inside of Div 1. Very quickly, now just fading over to go and look over at Beşiktaş as well, give them a spot in the limelight as well. Best map, Clubhouse, also something to consider. They're a team that likes their more standard options. And then Cafe is their worst. Uh, all right, sure. I mean, you've got good maps, you've got bad maps. Cafe may be a playstyle that doesn't really suit Beşiktaş.
Yeah, and I'm seeing, of course, Clubhouse has one of their best maps. I think that's fine because from tier 1 to tier 7 knows how to play Clubhouse. Even like my brother who doesn't play Siege, I think he knows how to play Clubhouse at this point. Maybe as you said, because Cafe is not one of the maps that you usually would play into, and it requires sometimes a very different play style. So yeah, maybe Beşiktaş currently are not comfortable with playing Cafe, and maybe we'll see it later. Maybe they're hiding it to later and then prep it. We'll wait for that time and assess it for ourselves. But for the time being, let's go to the prediction and see what people thought of today's matches. So, first of all, you said Beşiktaş, and
All right, all right. We
I
have a
said
split
RIZON.
on the caster desk. That's nice. I always like seeing me trying to go against the other caster because that makes it more lively when we talk about the game. Because I'm gonna try and make some good points about Beşiktaş, and you're gonna try and make some good points about RIZON, and I think that usually leads to a bit more lively commentary. It's boring when everyone has the same opinion. You got to fight a bit on the desk to make it interesting.
Yes,
And
definitely.
in the background, in the meantime, our lovely observer, unnamed, he's decided to go with Beşiktaş as well. So you're currently
Mm.
outnumbered, Fancy. How does it feel?
Well, I'm gonna drone everything and then I'll take the gunfight myself, I guess. And yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting match from both teams. But I decided to give the advantage not to Beşiktaş because I thought, uh, from what I saw, Beşiktaş still a team that lacks a little bit of the experience and how to control the rhythm of the game overall, and everything was not falling quite in order when I saw them last time. Maybe this time things have changed. Maybe I could be wrong, but depending on what I saw, team Beşiktaş might fall as well.
All right, fair enough. Right, and with that, I'm hoping that we can get the game underway pretty soon because I just want to see both of these guys in the server. And very quickly, I think we have a quick opportunity to also look at the map because we're going to be going to skyscrapers straight into the ban phase, Fancy. So I did see that Beşiktaş, their best map was Clubhouse, but they first banned it. So they're definitely not trying to just play the same game. I think Beşiktaş just deciding to do something different today. And so we end up on Skyscraper.
Yeah, I think them banning their own best map is trying to hide it because if you think about it, they're trying to not play their best map, which because Team Ryzen might have thought of, okay, we know that Beşiktaş is going by. They thought, okay, let's try to see what will be happening here, and then we find out Beşiktaş banning it. So they were maybe trying to and studying the VOD and everything and try to play it, but I guess that's not going to happen.
Yeah, definitely just not giving that opportunity over to RIZON. And speaking of RIZON, they decided to ban out the Monty, which is it's very, very strong, and there's very little that counters him at the moment. So people are just deciding to get rid of him more and more. The ban rate, I think, both the past season and now in this season, because of a lack of changes, uh, has gone up dramatically. Difficult to do so at every level of the competition. So Ryzen decided to take it out. They also banned the Valkyrie, and then Beşiktaş have decided to get rid of execute utility in the form of Ying, but also the Tuborau, curiously enough, in potential of those Soto canisters.
Yeah, definitely. I think that Tubaru is one of the most important operators that came to the lineup late out of him, especially combining him with other operators like Kaid or like Bandit is very important. Maybe this time Team Ryzen is not using Tubaru with now because his band, of course, but like in general, not not having Tubaru is very important because it can waste a lot of time. But we have another combination of operators. I'm seeing the mute. I'm not seeing any Kaid or Bandit to try to trick the wall. Maybe they will depend on the mute, but we'll see how they want to play it out at least in this round.
All right, and with that, we're already into the first round. We've got Ryzen at the moment. No direct wall denial other than a narrow being played. And in terms of the roam clearing from Beşiktaş, they've decided to bring out the Dokkaebi. However, no Demos to be seen just yet, as Schwarzi is able to get the opening pick onto Theezer. And in the meantime, Pat is also in an engagement, trying to see if he can find Selim, but it's Selim that actually finds him. It goes the other way. And so we have a 1-for-1 trade with not even a minute into the round. And that means that the cams are going to get hacked early. And I mean, the Valkyrie's off the board. There's not that much utility being brought. So it's most likely just going to give access to default cams. But it's still important to keep that in mind for the defenders if they want to go for rotations in the late round, as the Osa has already taken control of top black.
Yeah, I think a very important pick here is the. I was just going to talk about the Dokkaebi, but there is another pick from the from the attackers on the defenders, making it a 4 versus 3, and taking the two important operators, which is the Wamai and the Jaeger, two of the most important denying, but here is the Osa trying to get into the map and dies, but another kill also from the Frost on the other side of the map, and making it 3 versus 2, going again to the advantage of Ryzen. It's a very important execution, but the team Beşiktaş is not doing it correctly, because from what I'm seeing here, everyone is trying to do their own thing, but they're doing it
Oh no.
separately. And
Oh no.
just team Beşiktaş is just falling one after another. And we saw here, like the Thorn got the injury, and he probably heard them trying to riz and trying to go for the revive, and that's why he played aggressive and went for the kill on the down player and the other player as well. So, as I was saying, Team Beşiktaş seemed to be doing everything correctly, but they were doing it separately. So the OSA was trying to play, but there was no real cover for anyone who would be swinging her. And we will see like people on the white stairs, but we don't see anyone trying to cover it from the black stairs. So this dynamic and everything was happening here is correct, but they're just doing it separately.
Now, we are aware of issues with the stream at the moment, so I am being told that we're going to very quickly run some technical troubleshooting, because you can't understand us properly. I don't even know if this is being heard properly. So just very quickly, we'll try and see if we can sort this in a tech pause. We'll have to take the stream off momentarily. I hope that we can pause after this round. So yeah, stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, I think maybe we'll try our best for now. Maybe I think because from what I heard that stream is okay-ish currently. Maybe hopefully we can continue like this. For now, I think we can continue with the first kill from the Zofia on the Jaeger once again. But this time you can see the lineup changed a little bit. They got the Blitz, and this is a little bit of a change. And they got also in the defense, they got the Azami. I think the Azami is very important operator also for a map like Skyscraper, because it blocks a lot of angles and creates a lot of spaces that you wouldn't usually have with other operators. And it's very important to take control for such map that is very big to hold and contest as defenders.
All right, and Shock's already inside of the building, and he immediately gets shot in the head. Cloudy just somehow able to sneak a bullet right past that shield, absolutely shutting down the blitz. And with half the round gone, that is their primary just attacker. That is their main push gone for the side of Beşiktaş. So the question is, what do they do with this? As Nero makes the situation even worse. Another player drop. Borov goes down. Schwarzi just making it worse once again. Thieser, Gutter, they both drop. It's only down to Selim. He's on a rappel. He's outside. He's got plenty of time to work with, but he's got 4 opponents to find. And yes, we know and Nero are both tagged up. They're less than half HP, but even with that DMR, it's going to be difficult to be given these engagements. All RIZON have to do is just play a bit of a crossfire. The moment they can get one gunfight, as Selim takes a lot of damage, they should be able to close this out. And there we go. The bullet from Nero connects. And that is the second round in the favor of RIZON.
Yeah, so we saw 2 rounds so far from team Beşiktaş, from the game overall, and I think those are very important rounds because they decide the pace overall of how the game usually would go. And usually you would feel like the rhythm of the two teams and how do they want to play in general. Because from what we saw, Team Beşiktaş was doing things correctly, but also they were just like all over the map, and they didn't take the control that they need. And usually you would find people taking gunfights and they're on their own, and there is no refrags, not enough info, not enough control, and they just keep falling one after the other, which gives in the end the advantage to the defenders. Because we all know that a map like Skyscraper is a map that is one-sided, especially I mean one-sided in defend is more advantageous than the attackers. And that's why maybe a little bit it would be a little bit of a struggle for Team Beşiktaş to take over the map and take control the way they do, because it's little bit hard for them as the map layout is difficult for them.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what map they were going to pick, once again, Beşiktaş, the last 2 maps that were open were Cafe and Sky. Um, Cafe is the worst map for Beşiktaş, at least statistically, so I doubt it that they would go to this. So really their only choice was Sky, and the problem with picking the map is that you don't get to choose which side you want to start on. RIZON gets that choice, and at the moment they're making good use of that capability because they've already won 2 rounds, they've strung 2 together, and they've been able to just completely shut down Beşiktaş on the approach. Basically, they're a little aggressive and they lose a player here or there to a fight that maybe they shouldn't out in the middle of nowhere, but they're being so disruptive that Beşiktaş can't put together a coherent attack to even get to any important stage in the mid and late round. And from there on, RIZON is just able to pick off players one by one. And like you mentioned, Fancy, there's just no refrags. So as we wait for the disconnected player to come back in, I definitely think Beşiktaş need to have a talk about refragging. They need to play a bit closer together. They just need to capitalize on the fact that RIZON is going out aggressively and on their own as well, because RIZON's not looking to refrag either. They're sometimes just going out and trying to see if they can get a kill converted off of a deep roam. And if you can slow down and punish that on the attack, you can turn this game around very quickly. The problem is Beşiktaş just have to read into that.
Yeah, it's. I think they will take this time to discuss what are the things that are happening with them, and we will be back into the game once again with our players and see what will happen and maybe if this tech pause helped Team Beşiktaş or not. So let's see what will be the change overall in Team Beşiktaş in this round.
All right, and with the first two rounds for Ryzen 1, that means they now have to go to barbecue and kitchen. Well, they could have gone master, but let's be real. I don't think they choose that. It's a site that I haven't seen in a while. It used to be viable for a small bit, but that has calmed down in I think the past season or so. I haven't really seen it much anymore on Skyscraper. Instead, people just choosing to go to the more standard barbecue, and barbecue sometimes even becoming so favored that it's not even just a third choice. It's sometimes even a second or first choice, just to throw a bit of a curveball into it. So just barbecue, easy to defend from up above. The problem is the moment you lose top floor control, it's difficult to play anywhere inside of sight, and you will have to try and either retake top floor or at the very least find some way to deny the plant from outside of sight. And that can be difficult at times, but we'll have to wait and see how Besiktas want to try and approach this, because if they can't get top floor control, then they're not going to be able to get side control. So that's going to be the first step. And RIZON is, of course, going to be waiting for them. So I have to wait and see how this pans out. The opening picks in this game are important.
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult for Team Beşiktaş. I think this round is because this site is very important, and this round at least is going to be very important. But we see a fight over the other side, and Team Ryzen managed to injure one of the players. But in the meantime, the 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 Solace went out of the round, but in the same time, the Dokkaebi is also out of this round. But the revive is happening on the Ash, and it's back on board, so we're still equal into the main count. But it's the time that is going to be very, very crucial against Team Beşiktaş in this round, reprints, because the Team Ryzen have wasted a lot of time on the defenders, on the attackers, and they have managed to make it only 1 minute and 25 seconds left. And now another player of Team Beşiktaş falls, making it 4 versus 3. But Team Beşiktaş replies again, and it's making it 3 versus 3. But the execution is going to be very difficult because such round is very important. He sees the leg of one of the players, but couldn't be able to secure the kill. Makes very little damage on the smoke, and the round is 1 minute left to Beşiktaş to start their execution.
All right, timer ticking lower, but I mean, they've gotten a decent bit of control, and they forced Reno back. They forced a lot of the players from Ryzen back downstairs. The problem is there's still this bandit to try and deal with. Nero is just going to try and waste time here from this half wall. If he gives himself away too early, he might not find the value he's looking for, but if he peeks at the right time, he can maybe find the ram that's just holding an angle onto him. At the moment, they just have to be worried about him. They can't really deal with him. They don't have the resources to flush him out. I'm not even sure they know that he's still in there. He could have moved by this point, so just the amount of uncertainty increases with every second for these attackers. They have to try and find a way in. They have to try and deal with him. They're still hunting for him. There's 10 seconds left, and they're still not on the site. Finally, they get him, but it comes at the cost of a trade. So now into the execute they go. 2v2. Player comes down the main staircase. These are able to find one. We know with the refrag, it's a 1v1. It's only down to Wino, and he has to try and find Shoxel just in time, and Wino's able to do it. Ryzen, they win their third round in a row. It's now 3-0 for them, and they're able to stave off this execute for long enough, as I do believe it was Nero up above who was able to waste just enough time and Ryzen complete a full rotation. So they can go straight back to karaoke and tea room.
Well, we have went all through all the sites rotation currently, and of course we saw that the control overall from Team RIZON and the way they played around was the most important thing. They played on the time and they played on making Beşiktaş slow down, because from what we see here, Team Beşiktaş is already a team that is slow paced in their attacks. So by the way that Team Ryzen played overall, making them waste more time, try to hunt for the roamers, and try to get the kills on the roamers before they start the execution, costed them a lot of time and costed them as well the man count, which made it very difficult overall to go on the execution. And in the end, we saw it was just getting the kill on the planter in the last second, and there was no time for Team Beşiktaş.
All right, and I mean, you know, you gotta start fixing those problems, Beşiktaş. You now are bringing the Demos out at the cost of not bringing a Dokkaebi anymore. I mean, sure, fair enough. I think that camera hacking is not going to be all that useful, and with the new changes... Oh, Pat, oh no! He was hiding in a corner, and Selim was somehow still ready for him. He walked right past him, but he turns around because he just suspects that there might be a player, but he overpeaks, he oversteps, and we know is there to punish a bit later. Just given a free refrag is RIZON, as now there's a bit of a pop of that Thorn gadget, but it does get taken up by the IQ before it's able to be detonated. So that will give some information away. They now know that there's at least one, maybe even two people on Black Stairs. This is going to be concerning. Shotzi trying to take some pot shots at the shield. He was successful with it before, but he has to be careful not to get shot from Theezer, who's right behind that shield, stacked up and ready for anyone to step out a little too far. Gutter now there to support as well, trying to keep this Warden stuck in the corner. They're able to isolate him. They're able to use the bees to keep him trapped in that corner, and Gutter is finally able to take him down. Good pick for Beşiktaş. That now allows the man advantage. They're even breaching the wall to try and get themselves into karaoke. Already a much better attack. Here comes the flank. Flank comes in. Cloudy, we know they're both able to find kills, and suddenly the man advantage turns around. That shield is going to be dangerous for the Womai. He gets taken down. But with that, once again, a lot of players lost on both sides. Beşiktaş just struggling to keep up with the trade game, as now the Blitz has to continue pushing forward, and he's a little worried, but he plays perfectly around Gutter, able to take him down as well. So now it's only down to Cloudy. He does have a mirror window to work with, but that C4 is going to be a bit short, as he's not able to find it, and this forces a post plant now with a Blitz in play. No C4 for Cloudy to play around. This is going to be difficult for him to clutch.
Yeah, we can see the push from the Blitz onto the onto the player that is in the Geisha, but he gets the kill and the knife on the Mira player as well. So very good round overall from Team Beşiktaş. It costed them a lot of the utility that they had. It costed them a lot of change to address the way they were playing, because now we saw a different Beşiktaş, because you saw the Blitz, you saw the Demus, you saw the IQ, and everything was, and also the Grim. They were trying to force the utility and make the utility usage the most out of it, to help them push through the line of defense of Team RIZON, and it did work, but at what cost? At the cost of constant refrag, which is what was missing from them. Because from what we saw earlier, that Team Beşiktaş was struggling into the refrag, as we were saying, and this is what happened in this round. They kept playing faster than usual. They did the same thing, but more with more speed, and that's what was the difference, I think, in my opinion, in Team Beşiktaş from the other 3 rounds we saw earlier.
All right, so the lance has been broken. That big head start for RIZON has diminished into a 2-round lead, as Beşiktaş is finally able to pick up their first. And with that comes, of course, the confidence of maybe being able to do better on the second rotation. Beşiktaş have now seen how RIZON play their defenses, and now they have a chance to adapt. You've seen how they play on every single bomb side. You can now try and use that against your opponents. As they continue the rotation, RIZON not really concerned by this 1-round loss. They decide to go to office anyway. They still continue onward. They don't want to try T again. They don't want to be too static, as here comes a jump out from the Frost, but it gets punished. Gutter is able to find that onto Cloudy. He was trying to go for it. He does a decent chunk of damage to Gutter, but he's ultimately the one that wins it. So this Blitz now, just... What do you even call this? Shoxel is jiggle pushing.
I think he's trying to find just one of the players, and he's just trying to use the advantage of having a shield and to try to overall check the angles quickly without taking too much damage or exposing himself too much, because you know the blitz is not like the Monty and is going to be
Oh, no.
problematic. But he's so...
Did you see that miss drone?
Yes, I was just about to talk about it, and the missed drone from Team Beşiktaş was very crucial into that angle, which cost them the life of the buck, and that was a very big mistake that Team Beşiktaş cannot afford at this time of the game, because it's going to be very crucial. But here is the Azami saying, okay, sorry guys, you messed up, I'll mess up as well, and just trying to check aggressively. From what I see in this round from Team RIZON, they're playing very aggressively, more than the usual amount they're using, and that's causing them to lose a lot of essential players early on. But here goes the another kill on the Blitz from Team RIZON, from the Jaeger, and making it equal once again.
Alright, still sitting on that shield. Pat trying to find some more picks as he's still being challenged by Bodolf. Now Gutter pushing into Terrace. He gets himself a good angle straight through the bomb site, but hasn't found anybody yet. Tries to peek onto VIP as well, but with 30 seconds left, it is in the court of Beşiktaş to try and get a push going. As now C4 comes out, Nero's able to capitalize on that, and we know immediately with a peek, cuts down one, does get traded by Selim, but he's now all alone. He does have a bit of a smoke to try and give himself some cover, but that default does spot him. He's getting wall banged. He does have a ping onto the player inside of VIP. He tries to find the first fight, but he gets punished by Nero. And it is once again RIZON back in the driver's seat. They slipped up one little round and they were like, all right, guys, let's refocus. Let's, get our game back on and let's retake that 3-round lead. And they do so successfully as they're now up 4-1.
Yeah, I think what they did in the round that they lost was very crucial to them, and they saw the small mistakes that they did and they fixed it. However, to be honest, I saw also in that round other mistakes that they did, because they tried to play aggressively and tried to punish the slow style of Beşiktaş overall. It didn't work out at first for them, and they lost two of the players, which was almost about to cost them the round. So they started then falling back a little bit and saying, okay guys, we lost two players, we cannot start losing more, we need to play aggressive, but we're just trying to focus into getting the round, because you saw when Beşiktaş was trying to execute, it was only 40 seconds left into the round.
Yeah. Beşiktaş just a bit slow on that approach, and I think RIZON doing a good job of that once again. Like, they're out in early round, and even if they lose two players, they're still able to at least disrupt the flow of Beşiktaş. Yes, you've lost two players, but the enemy can no longer execute because they're unsure of how to proceed next, and Beşiktaş start second-guessing themselves. They start moving very, very slowly, and they can't put together and execute even when they're not pressured in the late round, even when RIZON is just sitting and saying, all right, you can come to us now. We'll wait for you right here. So just, once again, really good job at that disruption, and Beşiktaş not able to get any meaningful foothold. Once again, that blitz is coming out. It has done a decent bit of work for Beşiktaş in the past, but it's been a bit hit or miss, and especially with that Monty ban, I assume, from RIZON coming out, Beşiktaş were going to play the Monty for some information. So now all they have to rely on is that small little shield. They don't have that extended shield to take more space, and Blitz is more at risk of getting shot, so definitely something that they have to worry with somebody like Schwarze in the lobby, because he's been hitting some nasty shots onto that Blitz.
Yeah, it's insane that they're still using the blitz, because this is the only info that they can try to rely on, that instead of the Monty. However, because their info using the drone we saw earlier was not something that they usually can rely on, because it was very uh, not in the correct direction, because they were just not using the drones correctly, misdroning places, which causing them to lose info, which is, I think this is a one key important point Team Beşiktaş needs to focus on. However, you see 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining into the round, and the Blitz starting to push into the Geisha, trying to get a kill on the player, but he misses, and the player runs away. Another kill falls on the Lion, however, and also the Ace is 2 HP.
Cloudy not just reinforcing the rotate, but I think he was trying to put a mirror window down. I don't know if he was successful in that endeavor. In the meantime, his team is able to at least get man advantage, so the Blitz has pushed forward, but they don't have a wood rotate into Karaoke anymore. They cannot rotate into the bomb site. So now the Blitz has to go all the way around, and there's a long angle here from top black being held, and a Womai as well inside of the site that they have to try and deal with. Blitz baiting a bit of an ADS, and there we go. He's able to force out one. Shoxel's able to punish that. And suddenly we find ourselves in a 3v2. This does look doable. If they can get this plant down, they might be able to do it. It's only down to the Jaeger. It's only down to Pat, and now it's a post-plant situation. Somehow Beşiktaş, despite being stopped in their tracks over on Geisha, are able to turn this around, able to use the Blitz beautifully to give Shoxel a few more kills, able to get that plant down. And that's a 4-2 split, which honestly, for Skyscraper attack for Beşiktaş, is not all that bad.
Yeah, definitely. Because something like this is very difficult. As we said, the map overall is not designed to be helpful for the attackers, but going on a 4-2 overall is a good win, because Team Beşiktaş were trying to figure out what to do in this map overall, and they had a lot of issues trying to figure out how Team RIZON was playing, and the problems that they were facing and everything in that regards was causing them to be slow and causing them to have a lot of problems while droning and getting the info. However, they still got away with 2 rounds. I think now that this half is over and done for Team Beşiktaş, I think now they can take a breath and just take a moment to think about what can be done into the next half, because now they will be the ones defending, and they will be the ones who think, okay, now we can control the pace of this game, and now we can control overall how can we play this half.
All right, and with that, we're already into the next round. Pause wasn't as long as it needed to be. Just once again, very quick tick issue, but thankfully we do have that pause button. A very big quality of life change. I remember a time, I don't know if, I assume you do as well, Fancy, in competitive play before that pause button was a thing, and man, was that annoying. Every time somebody disconnected, you had to restart the whole lobby, you had to redo everything because you just could not pause.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm trying to think like everything, because the pause was when the pause was not there, everything like just falls into like falls all over the place, and you just keep rehosting, and sometimes the rehost doesn't do it. One rehost doesn't do it, and you have to do it multiple times. That was a lot of problem as well. So thank God we finally got that pause, and we also got the timeout as well.
Oh no. Is he gonna go for this?
If he goes, he should be punished, because they... Never mind.
Yep. Yeah, all right. Yeah. Caesar was standing in that doorway. I was worried he was going to go for a run out. He tries to swing onto Nero as he sees a drone being thrown his way. And instead, it's him who gets punished, as Gutter is able to find Schwarzi, but immediately gets himself taken out as Pat is able to find one, and suddenly it's already only down to Shoxel. This round has barely started. It's only down to the Bandit. It's not even been a minute, guys. Calm down. Shoxel, he finds himself in a 1v4. He's able to kill 2 players, but he's down to 20 HP. That is basically just 1 bullet. Here comes the yellow pings, but that player's inside the building, buddy. I don't know what the communication is like on Beşiktaş, but that ping is not in the place where he thought it was. So now there will be a planned opportunity. Nero, good start for him to the round, and now he's able to put the plant down as well. Here comes a wide swing, a bit too wide for Shoxel. Cloudy's able to punish him. And man, what a lightning fast round from RIZON to start them off on the attacking half here.
So, yeah, it's a very very fast from like execution overall from Team Ryzen, because what we saw here is completely the opposite of Team Beşiktaş, the way they were playing on the attack, and this was very important and was needed from Team Ryzen, because you saw how it was only there was like 2 minutes left into the round, and the team is already planting. So the pace that Team Ryzen was doing and controlling the map is just very important and was very well done, to be honest.
Yeah, right. And with that, they're only 2 rounds away from potentially closing out this game already. Keep in mind, this is a BO1. We're in a single round robin format, and of course, you get rewards. We have a bit of a gauntlet system in the playoffs, so the higher you place, the better your chances, and the less matches you will have to play in playoffs. And you don't want to start in the quarterfinals or round one of the playoffs. You want to go straight into the semis, right? So every single match counts. It's important on the placement, exactly where you are inside of this group stage. So every point matters. And at the moment, Ryzen is on track for potentially claiming their first three here on the very first Playday, which would set a good precedent going into this league. It would give them a bit of comfort, a few points to try and just build a lead over some of the other teams who are going to play today, and especially over, I believe it was Melilla who already forfeited today. So Ryzen
Yes.
would immediately just jump ahead of them and just have a little bit of a breather away from those guys to put themselves further up the leaderboard. And Besiktas now, they're on the back foot. They really have to find a way back into this. Their attacks weren't all that convincing, but they were able to chain together two where they were at least able to put together somewhat coherent execute. And now on the defense, this very first round was just really fast and chaotic from Ryzen. Besiktas was not able to read it, but we'll have to wait and see how it plays out when Besiktas are maybe able to control the flow of the game a bit better, because the moment Ryzen gets control of that, I think Besiktas is out of it. Besiktas have to start putting a stop to this. They have to just put a handle, put a lid on it, and just be in control of the match. And this is a good start. Salim gets the opening pick on Fashazzi, and it's been over a minute. And the round is still going, so
Wow.
definitely a much more expected pace from the defenders.
Surprised. This is yeah, surprising.
Oh,
Here
oh
is
no.
he's so close, but he was still a little bit late, and he decides to go try to find the person downstairs, and he still loses to the player. And yeah, this is going to be a very difficult round, but the kills is going left and right, and they're trying to get the advantage here, Team Beşiktaş, but they're playing the aggressive game. They're peeking and they're trying to fight over every angle and every fight possible. And you see here, one of the players injured, one other player is 3 HP. So this is going to be a little bit difficult for Team Ryzen in the end game, and trying to execute, because now it's 15 seconds remaining into the round, and this is not looking good for Team Ryzen.
All right, we know does get recovered. This might be big as it's another gun that's in play for the side of Ryzen. But you got to consider Cloudy's on 3 HP. He's one goo mine away from death. And we know he's on 20 as well. If he gets caught in a goo mine, he will have to try and pick it up and get it out of his foot. But instead, it's Shoxel to go for a swing outside. He finds Pat and we know, leaving exactly 3 HP left for Ryzen. It is Cloudy who's outside of the window. He's got 20 seconds. He's got a gun trained at him, and he's got two others that are right behind that, waiting for an opportunity for him to swing. There comes that goo mine. I don't think Cloudy can jump in anymore. The moment he does, he should die to that little piece on the floor. So all he can do is just wait, hold an angle, see if he can maybe get one more kill. This is a round for Beşiktaş. They closed the gap a little bit. This is their first defensive round win, and they're finally able to reel this back in and maybe mount somewhat of a comeback.
Yeah, so maybe this is the round that they need. Team Beşiktaş are now 5-3 into the scoreboard. And yeah, this is going to be a little bit different. But you can see here, Shox has 12 kills. So it's this is to show something to some of the people that think having much kills is the main factor that you will just help you into the rounds and get you the games. But no, Team Beşiktaş is still a little bit far behind into this round, into this game, and it's still 2 rounds difference. might not be too much, but still it's a little hard to do. And Team Ryzen in the last round, and you can see the difference between the both of the two rounds that Team Ryzen played as attacks. First round, it was very fast, very well executed, everything was on point, and they got the round. Second round, they tried to play the slow game. They tried to play the fast game, but not enough, and then they started slowing, which in the end cost them the round. So, if that shows anything, that playing slow in Skyscraper overall is not the answer for your attack.
Yeah, might not be necessarily the answer that you're looking for. And now Beşiktaş, definitely, I think, a lot of these rounds have been really close, but you got to consider that I think Shoxel is part of the reason why they've been so close. You couldn't be able to tell from the scoreboard, like from the kill and death distribution, what the score of the matches exactly. I don't think you would be able to tell that. Because it's just not very evident. A lot of these rounds have been very back and forth, and it's come down to a lot of 2v1s, 1v1s, 1v2s, just a lot of very, very tight situations that ultimately end up with one or two gunfights going the right way. And speaking of gunfights, is able to take down Shoxel. That is the big man for Beşiktaş so far, and he's able to do quite a decent chunk of damage to the ace, but it's not enough to take him down. So we know walks away with his life, walks away with the capability of still using his util, and he is of course carrying diffuser, so that's important as well. This is another opening pick for RIZON, which makes it difficult for Beşiktaş. They now have to try and go out aggressively and once again regain control of the pace of the game, because if they can't do that, RIZON's going to run all over them.
Yeah, they have to see what can they do, because this is going to be very problematic if they start losing the defend rounds as well. So Knock here with the new style, her new ability, rework you would call it, or buff you want to call it as well, is trying to take the main stairs, and it's doing a very good job, because she's not being detected. And here is another kill from Team RIZON, making it a 5 versus 3, making this round more harder for Team Beşiktaş. We have to wait and see what is the way going to be RIZON doing and trying to fall for the execute. But here is the kill onto the ace that was 11 HP earlier, and making it harder for them, because they lost the diffuser and they lost the hard breacher. And Knock here falls, making it a 3 versus 3. And this is very problematic, because now it's going to be a lot harder for Team RIZON to focus and execute on the execution.
All right, I was worried Gutter didn't see that little head from Schwarzi peeking up as he was going up the main staircase, but he does find that Dokkaebi, and so this phone call falls on deaf ears as nobody on Beşiktaş responds to it, and instead they're even able to get a kill for themselves. Now, once again, this shield inside of T has done so much work. Caesar is still sitting behind it, and they're not able to deal with it. The Ashe is on top lag, but she's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, and now she does get taken out as Caesar goes for a triple. It's once again only down to Cloudy. It is down to just the Flores. This time a bit more HP, but ultimately he finds himself one as Caesar goes out for the swing to see if he can find any more. But ultimately, I think now we're starting to see the more confident rounds from Beşiktaş, even though they're still not starting out the way we want them to. But at the very least, the strategic play is there. Caesar with that nice shield position on T is a perfect counter to how RIZON wanted to attack this, and that's what we need to see out of Beşiktaş.
Yeah, I think the way that Beşiktaş played this round was very crucial, and it was very well executed. Also, I need to say, like, this was also this was part of fault of Team RIZON, because they did have the utility to be able to finish off that shield and remove it from the whole round, but they still didn't do it. They had the Flores, they had the nades from the Nook, and they still didn't manage to flush off the shield, which is uh, a bad way of using your utility, because if you're not gonna use your utility to remove the defender's utility, then why are you bringing such operators? Because if you saw on the lineup of Team Beşiktaş, there was no Jäger, there was no Omai, there was no anything that would deny getting rid of that shield. But however, Team RIZON didn't coordinate and communicate quickly enough to to help each other into getting rid of that shield that was causing a lot of trouble for them. But that was around in the past. Maybe Team Beşiktaş have different things in this round that they would use to surprise Team RIZON, and Team RIZON would have things to fix from the other rounds.
Yeah, right, and with that, here comes the stress test from Beşiktaş as they're forced onto their tertiary bomb site. They have to try and defend Barbecue now as well, as they've won 2 bomb sites in a row. They were basically forced to do it, and wow, that Brava got a lot of utility. Selim will have to try and get rid of it. Did he shoot the default cam? The default cam got hacked as well, I'm pretty sure.
The default cam got hacked, but didn't. Oh, I thought the C4 was going to get him, but he still gets the kill on with the SMG, and another kill, making it 5 versus 3. But yes, he did not shoot the default cam.
Right, well, maybe it doesn't matter because Beşiktaş is able to very quickly chain together 3 kills in different places, and no refrag comes through. Schwarzi does have live information onto a player here in this corner. A jump out comes through from Theezer to try and punish Cloudy, but he's ready for that. He's not going to let that happen to him, as the Warden may be getting a bit too antsy. So now there's a chance for RIZON. They are in a 2v4 that is man disadvantage, but there's a player trapped in this corner. Cloudy at the moment is sitting on a rappel trying to bait out, maybe waiting for Gutter to see if he wants to cross this window as well. And oh, there we go. Schwarzi, he does get it. That was the player in the corner. Shoxel must have moved, and that is the opportunity given over to the Dokkaebi. That is now the man count only with a +1 to the side of Beşiktaş. And they have to try and hold on here, maybe fall back a bit. You've got over a minute to play with, over a minute that you need to try and deny, and you don't know exactly where these attackers are, and they can always rotate. Some information being gained. RIZON still has access to drones, and this is really, really big, because they can put information down for their dead teammates, and they can get themselves into a powerful position. This is far from over, and Beşiktaş have to keep their guard up.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit problematic because now is it's a 3 versus 2. So Team RIZON, if they need to do something, they need to do it quick because only 40 seconds remaining into the round.
40 minutes.
Wow, I would love to watch that, but that's going to be a lot.
I'd love to
of time.
attack with 40 minutes. There's plenty of time.
Yeah, I think I'll take too much time, but I'm a slow attacker. I would like to take 40 minutes to attack. If anyone wouldn't mind my slow way of pushing, but it seems like Team Beşiktaş here is not going to have 40 minutes to defend, and Team RIZON is into the last 10 seconds. 2 versus 3, 1 on the hatch.
Oh no, Cloudy, no.
He tries to push through the smoke, but gets 1 kill, but there is not enough time for him to get
He shot it!
the round.
He shot his own hacked default cam after the round ended. I was saying, you know, the defenders, they didn't shoot that one. They forgot about it. It could have been important in the round. It ended up not being. And Cloudy does the exact same thing that he did in the previous round. He was in a 1v3. He gets himself 1 more exit frag, but ultimately nothing else. So Cloudy at the moment just being left last alive on the side of RIZON. Everyone around him just falling like flies. And that's a big concern because now Beşiktaş have tied up the score. It's been RIZON in the lead, I think, for the whole match so far. They've constantly been in the lead. This is the first time that Beşiktaş have even tied up the score, and now they even have an opportunity to maybe take the lead and get themselves onto a match point first, which guarantees them at least 1 point. And taking that away from RIZON would be nice after the, I think, very slow start that Beşiktaş have had.
Yeah, it seems like teams decide to throw everything they were doing whenever we switch to attack, because we saw a very good pace and overall execution from Team RIZON in the first round of attack, but after that we didn't see much. We only saw just attempts of replicating the same, but in the end it still fell short because the score, if you remember, it was 4-2. So Beşiktaş from that half, currently they won 3 rounds and only 1 round for Team RIZON, which is a little concerning for Team RIZON, considering that now if they need to start, this is going to be a little bit problematic for Team RIZON if he manages to do the kite trick on this, because it's going to be a lot of trouble if they don't open this wall.
They don't have any impact EMPs. There's no Thatcher being played, so I don't think you're going to be able to get rid of these Kite Claws in any way, shape, or form. They tried to detonate the floor below, but as we're once again talking about utility, it is RIZON that is talking with their guns instead. And Troxel and Theezer go down. These are two very important players. They've had some big impact rounds for Beşiktaş so far, so immediately the defenders on the back foot. This might be an opportunity for RIZON to try and capitalize on this. But it looks like RIZON are choosing to try and slow this down, gain some more information, use some of your utility, box these guys in, don't allow them to take any gunfights. Bodov, you can see he's swinging outside, but there's nobody on that rappel as of yet. There's one person getting up onto the rappel now, but just don't give him that opportunity to try and go for the swing. You have the advantage. Just play into an execute trade game now, RIZON, and you can get yourself onto match point. As the second Sophia explosive is now used up as well to try and create a vert angle that forces Bodov out of his position. The buck comes in as well, so complete vert control lost for the side of Beşiktaş, but Selim is able to find one, and the Sophia does get injured as well.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of trouble for both teams because now it's... Oh!
Oh no! There was two! Selim, there was two claymores! He shot the first one and he dies to the second.
He
What an
didn't
unexpected
expect
way
that.
to go down. Yeah, incredible play. I don't know who put that claymore down. It was two claymores next to each other there. It must have been... It was probably Nero, I would assume, that or Pat, but my goodness! Off of that, the flank completely denied, and it is RIZON who put themselves onto match point first. They struggled a bit. They were allowing Beşiktaş to catch up, but this is where it matters, and now they have an opportunity to close this out with the full 3 points.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of problem now for Team Beşiktaş. They had the lead and everything, but the flank destroyed everything. Because, by the way, if you think about it, this info it's not just about getting the kill of the flank, because Team RIZON knew there was only 2 people remaining in this round, and one of them being dead made Team RIZON know for sure that there is only the last person has to be in sight, and they have the advantage, and that's what we saw in the very end. All of them peeked him in the same second and just went completely all over the place, and they took control in the last second of the round.
Yeah, and that's that explosive playstyle that is really important in closing out rounds, and that shows some team synergy. It's when you're giving information onto, like, you know, last players right here, or the last 2 are on site. This gives so much information, right? Because if you know where every single defender is, and in the late round, usually there isn't that many defenders left. If you know where everyone is, then you know exactly what is clear and what is not. And so there's so much space that you can take, so much free space that you can just get and just run past without having to check any corners, any angles, nothing. That is where the attack excels. It's why it's important to try and get attacks done aggressively and to try and get some picks early, because then in the late round, all you have to do is drone one guy and then just collapse on that guy from everywhere, because you know everything's clear. He can only be in one room at the same time, unless we're playing Skopos, which is currently quarantined, so I guess that is your only choice. You might be able to teleport, but not yet, not yet. And so it feeds so much information that you can just immediately collapse on that guy, and RIZON have done a good job of that. They are immediately able to take that space. The moment that call comes out, just so much information. Cloudy's waiting for his opportunity. Speaking of going for that push, waiting for information, he's waiting to try and pop this mirror window.
Yeah, but it's not going to get it from that angle because it's going to be on the other side. I like how that we were speaking that a person cannot be in the same room in 2 rooms at the same time. I like how this sentence would have normally ended that at that line, and now us having Scopus, this sentence there is unless after it, and there is a chance of for a person to be in 2 places at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really looking forward to that, but for the moment, that's not going to be in competitive, as Schwarzi is down below. There we go, that Twitch drone at the same time as the buck. Cloudy is able to pop it. Yeah. Oh, Bodov is just getting chased everywhere. He has to leave every spot he goes into as Schwarzi just relentlessly hunts him down. There's some more yellow pings coming through. Cloudy's drone, I think, is still up, although at the moment he's a bit busy on that rappel trying to find some long angles himself. He's being given some jiggle peeks, but not being given any kills so far, as Gutter is actually the one that's able to find the first pick. And gets that buck onto the floor, as well as Pat.
Not gonna
and-
do it with a shot.
Shoxel struggling a bit. Gutter there to clean up, though. Gutter, once again, just making sure that his team is able to confirm some of these kills. Yeah, you're not going to get it with the buckshot from that range, but hey, I commend you for trying. Cloudy gets the first. Nero looks away at the exact wrong time to try and peek the smoke, but he's rewarded anyway. The smoke continues peeking, somehow doesn't see the Sophia, and now man advantage is turned into the favor of RIZON. It's only down to Bodolf and Shoxel. They've got 20 seconds to hold off, and then they're good. So all they have to do is maybe deny one plant attempt from RIZON as they're still waiting for this wall to be opened.
Oh, the C4 from the below. Is it going to? It gets the
Beautiful.
planter. This is going to be very important. Another C4
Oh my
kill.
god!
This is going to, I guess we have to go to overtime now, because now Team Beşiktaş is taking control of this round. Almost by a small margin. Team Beşiktaş was going to lose this round, and now we are going to we're going to overtime, and Team Beşiktaş are taking their timeout to try to discuss what can they do to close this game. This is chaotic. This is all over the place, because and now it's time for Team Beşiktaş to figure out what is the problem and how can they fix it.
Yeah, I do like that there's a tag timeout coming in and from Beşiktaş after they're able to get into OT. Maybe they thought that round was a little too close for comfort. So deciding on taking a quick tag timeout. I don't know if they have a coach. I'm not sure. Maybe Ethem in the Twitch chat can let us know. I know that he's a big fan of Beşiktaş and he does love casting them as well. So if you can give us some insider intel, I'd be more than happy to share that with everyone else. But for the moment, Beşiktaş just choosing to slow it down, as now they move themselves into OT. They have an opportunity to close this game out, and they will be given 2 opportunities to defend. And with how this game has gone so far, both of the splits going 4-2 to the defensive half, this is a good opportunity for Beşiktaş.
Yeah, this is going to be very important now, because if Team Beşiktaş are going to focus and like do anything that is going to be helpful, like they want to focus on, and they want to fix their mistakes, this is going to be the round, and this is going to be the moment, because now there is no second chances. This is the second chance. This is as second chance as you can get. So we have to see what Team Beşiktaş will do, because after the timeout they did, maybe now they can fix the mistakes, and this is going to be the solution to their problems. But they're still into the defense, so maybe they can get this round and capitalize on that to help them when they go to the attack round.
Okay, I like this adaptation from Theezer. He goes out aggressively again. I don't know if he shot a drone out there or not, but he very quickly presents himself over on that black door leading to the balcony outside, but he leaves that position right away. So he's just giving some phantom pressure, because at this point RIZON know that he likes doing this, but he doesn't actually commit to it. So this is just shadow pressure that he set up earlier, and this is doing a good job of it. But there we go. All right, good adaptation from RIZON. An Ash charge from down below to take down that shield, which was so pivotal in one of the earlier rounds. Beşiktaş lose that shield that Theezer was playing around immediately, and that mirror window gets opened up as well. So Beşiktaş losing a lot of their util quite early on, as RIZON have done a very good job of managing all of this.
Yeah, this is going to be very important for both teams, because now Team RIZON, they fell into the round, and I was just going to say this is going to be very important for Team RIZON as well, because they have struggled a lot into attacking this round, and this is just falling apart for them, and now it's going to be more catastrophic, because Team Beşiktaş, it seems like now they know now they just seems like they're just all over the place for Team RIZON, and Team Beşiktaş are now just going one after another, and it just fell apart for Team RIZON.
Yeah, difficult to say when exactly it went wrong, but the moment it did, Beşiktaş immediately able to capitalize. And without losing a single player, it's once again just down to Cloudy. He's got an opportunity to 1v5 here. I doubt it. He might be able to get himself a few kills. This is what he's been doing in these clutch situations, because ultimately he usually gets stuck outside the building. He's in a 1v4 now, as he's able to at least get Gutter, but once again, he just now recovered Diffuser. He's got 40 seconds. This is now, I think, the first time that Cloudy has been in the building. And so this is showing that Beşiktaş is able to control their space very well, as here comes a drop shot from both players. Shoxel does go down. Cloudy's able to win that little dropping competition, but Bodolf is in a bit of a tough spot. He finds himself on the roof of Mezzanine, or right next to it, rather, as he's able to just use that off angle, able to take down what was remaining of Cloudy. And this will now leave Beşiktaş for the first time ever in this matchup in the lead, and with that already at match point.
Now is the real test, in my opinion. Team Beşiktaş have shown a very impressive defense rounds, and now we're back into the pivot moment of where it all started. Beşiktaş wants back again into the attack, and this is going to be deciding everything, because now if they do this correctly, they just make it easier for themselves, because now they know what can they do, because they have discussed everything in the time at probably, and if they don't, they will have a defend round, but that might not do it, because they have shown a lot into going into their defend cycle overall. So Team RIZON might be able to do it and just snap out of it in the last round. So we need to see what Team Beşiktaş needs to do right now.
Yeah, Beşiktaş now, of course, you know, they have another defense round to potentially fall back on if they don't win this one, but they'd rather just close this one out. And honestly, I you know, if I was in their position, I would want to close it out too. I wouldn't want to have to rely on another defensive round, give RIZON a chance to fight back into this. You don't want to go to max OT if you don't have to. So if you can close this out on the attacking side, yes, it's not the favorite side, but if you can just pull something out, you can just have a little pocket strat, try something special. At the moment, it's looking more like it's RIZON that gets something out of their pocket, and it's a battery. It's a car battery to put on the wall, and Cloudy is able to trick at least one exothermic, and it couldn't come at a better time than having match point against you to try and throw out some of that utility.
Yeah, it's first time we saw it, it didn't work out, but this time Team RIZON is able to pull it off and make it harder for Team Beşiktaş. Now, this is going to be a little bit problematic, because I have a question. If you have Thatcher and you have Dokkaebi and you still get tricked, I think this is a big question mark for me, but they answer with another solution by just removing one of the team players.
Ooh.
And they decided to lose two in the process, because their way of gathering the info and just losing the Dokkaebi and the Ash in the process.
The player that he killed first was definitely not the one he was initially going for, but Pat is rewarded with both of them, as that C4 onto Selim is able to just get him out of the match as well. So now, big man advantage for RIZON. They've got a 4v2 in their hands. Should be able to convert this, and we may have to go all the way. Every single round played, all 15 here, Fancy. It's only 1 minute to go, and Bodolf and Gutter have to make some magic work if they don't want to play another round.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of trouble for Team Beşiktaş if they want to close it right here, right now. But I don't think this is going to happen, because 45 seconds remaining, and Team RIZON seems to be holding off their angles very hard and very passively. And they don't try to think, or at least try to do anything that is a little bit aggressive. But here is the kill from the shotgun and another kill because the players are just lining up for him, and it's just everything that we said that Team Beşiktaş was doing. They seem to not fix their attack yet.
They took a long break from attacking, and they seem to have forgotten everything that they tried adapting to for RIZON, because I feel like Besiktas started warming into their attacking half a bit more as time went on. They were able to read into RIZON a bit better, but now they played 7 defenses in a row. They go back to attack, and they're like, what are we doing? I'm not really sure. Let's try our standard way of playing Skyscraper, and once again, they get punished for it. And RIZON goes back to their very comfortable defensive side. The problem is they're only given that one. So now RIZON are the ones that have the ball in their court. They're the ones that have to try and convert an attack. The first time around in OT here, it didn't go so well. They'll be given a second chance. And now Beşiktaş, I'm curious about this. They have chosen not to go to office. Instead, they want to go to barbecue and kitchen. That's a curious choice.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit tricky because such site is not an easy site to defend because it requires a lot of roaming and a lot of vertical play, especially on the geisha side, because such site needs to always focus on the top control because of the hatch that is in geisha, as it directly falls into the site. So seeing here the combination from team Beşiktaş is good combo because they're getting the bandit and he's playing upstairs trying to deny if the geisha wall gets open, and also the solace is very important and the shield here goes right away. The nade from team RIZON, this is going to be a lot of problem from team Beşiktaş if team RIZON decides to up their attacking speed a notch, and it's going to be a lot of problem here because team Beşiktaş gets one kill on the Ash player from team RIZON.
This is big. Pat goes down early. There's no refrag. Sell him close to the bomb site. I think they were trying to maybe sneak Pat into the building, but they were unsuccessful in doing so. Schwarzi is able to at least get a trade onto Gutter. This is now a tight spot to be in. Only a minute off the clock. Already a lot of gunfights ensuing. Shoxel's able to get another one onto Schwarzi. These are the important pickups, and Beşiktaş back in the lead. Shoxel's taking quite a bit of damage, and Selim loses his life to Cloudy from just a doorway outside the building. This is, once again, it's very scrappy. Usually you see, teams in overtime start playing it very safe, start playing scared, start playing not to lose. And, usually you say, that's kind of the wrong approach. Both of these teams are absolutely reckless. We're in max OT, guys. And you're just throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. So both these teams, I think, have run out of options, and they're just trying to see if they can play chaotic. And now here comes the slowdown in the 3v3. I think the pressure starts mounting. They have an idea about this player on drum. Here comes the jump in. Is Bodov able to find one? Yes, he gets the first. Does he know about the second? Nero doesn't quite go for the jump in. So no refrag comes out. This is big once again for Beşiktaş. Cloudy inside the building now. But Nero gets punished. Bodov, there we go. He's finally able to get that second pickup. So once again, it's only down to Cloudy, and this is looking like a victory for Beşiktaş.
Yeah, this is going to be seems like a victory unless Team Beşiktaş decide to throw everything in this last 40 seconds. But Team Beşiktaş decide here to close it off, and we are going into we went to the maximum OT, and we just this was one hell of a match. I did not expect to see this from both teams because the way both teams played, it was all over the place, and both teams had their mistakes, and of course GG well played to both of them, but still Team Beşiktaş came on top in the end. I guess you guys get your victory. Maybe it was only one round difference, but you still get the prediction right, at least in this one. One of the 3 matches done for today. We will discuss what we have on the schedule later, but we will take a quick break and wait for the next 2 matches to get ready.
Hold on,
Yeah.
Fancy. One second before we go anywhere. very quick, important update. Because of the forfeit from Melilla, Titans against Lace Dogs. So Lace Dogs already on 3 points. Keep that in mind. We've got 2 other games coming up later on today as the Spirit game was rescheduled, but we still have NXT versus ranked 2.0 champs and B versus Bon Voyage coming up. But we will take not just a quick break, a decently big break. So unfortunately, we don't have the game Lace Dogs for you today, and we will be coming back to stream the next game at 9 p.m. CEST. So we'll take a decent break, like roughly half an hour. Then we'll be back with the stream. We'll talk about the upcoming teams a bit. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. The stream will be back fairly shortly. And then we'll be back with the remaining 2 games of today. A bit of a scheduling issue on the first Playday, but we'll get that sorted out. So unless you have anything to add, Fancy?
No, I
No.
hope I see more thrilling games like the one we just saw.
Yeah, looking forward to that. So we'll take a quick break. Once again, the stream will come back, so don't go anywhere. Well, I mean, you can go somewhere right now. Go grab some
Get
popcorn.
something.
Go have a shower, eat some dinner. I don't like you have time right now, so go and do that, and then come back to watch us cast NXT versus Rank 2.0 champs. And until then, stay safe, and we'll be back.
Welcome back, everyone, to our second game of the day into the second league or second season of EON League, and this is Division One. Today, or this match is going to be Team NXT and Team Rank Champions 2.0. So, what do you think of this game, Reprince?
All right, well, NXT is a name that I've heard before, but this is a bit of a different roster. This is the former LHV that got picked up going into this Division 1. So this is a French roster this time around, no longer the NXT that you're usually used to. So instead, we have these guys. Looking forward to see how they will perform, and of course, they're going to be going up against ranked 2.0 champs. But let's very quickly look at the roster for both of these teams. First thing we're going to look at, like I'd already mentioned, this new NXT. It's a bit of a French roster. Some names that I think you've really heard around the T2 and T3 scene. Another like newly cobbled together French team. They have some roster shifts every now and then, and this is what they settled with this time around. And we'll have to wait and see how powerful they can, make this roster be.
Yeah, definitely. And here we see on the other side a mix of Finnish and German players. Roster is team ranked 2.0 champs, and you can see here,
Great name.
which is something is very important. Their best map is Consulate, which is something that you wouldn't always usually see, because Consulate is a very hard map to uh, to master overall, because the way things uh, the way things have been shaped in Consulate, especially after the rework, there is a lot of rooms, there is a lot of space in the defense, and if you look at from the other side, the attack has a lot of space to to try to go on and try to drone and try to take control of from the defenders. So it's a map that I would say hard on both situations and hard on both sides, attack and defend. And having such a map as your best map is a very important point, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll let you in on a little secret. I won't disclose too much of any of the scorelines or anything like that, but I can tell you, Rank 2.0 champs, they've scrimped Fnatic.
Okay. Mhm.
So, they've gotten decent practice.
That's good.
And
This is very important because screaming such uh, big T1 names is something that you need, especially in the practice. As a team that, no matter how big or small you are, screaming other T1 teams is very crucial and important, because such thing gives you everything you need. Gives you what is missing. How does uh, a, a team that is well practiced deal with such situations in your scrim or strats overall?
yeah, certainly important. Another thing that I can mention, Stack's a player that's been around. I mean, all of these, players' names that I recognize, but especially Stacks, I think, is a guy who's been on a lot of different T2 rosters over the years, and I feel like a guy that's still being slept on inside of the league. It's a guy who I feel like could have had, given the right circumstances, could have had a contract somewhere in UL already. He hasn't had the chance yet. So he will have to continue proving himself. So I'm looking forward to this matchup. And NXT will be a good opponent to try and gauge how good they are, because once again, NXT, formerly LHV, this is also a decent, like, T2, T3 level French team. So if they can beat these guys, it shows that they have enough of a capability, especially from a gunplay perspective, to try and win over opponents. Because from what I've seen out of Rank 2.0 champs so far, the little experience I've had with them, they haven't been together for that long. And they're primarily a team that focuses on just like blind synergy and on gun capabilities. They're a very mechanical team, and they need to deliver on that aspect. Otherwise, they're going to get shut out of a match by a better opponent.
Yeah, indeed. So we will talk about the maps, and from what we see here, Chalet, which is if you remember what we saw, Chalet was not one of the best maps for team rank champs, and being it their last pick because they banned Consulate. This is very tricky because they banned their best map into going into Chalet. So what do you think about this?
All right. Well, interesting. Okay. I don't think that the map ban between these two teams was considered all that much. Like I think that both these teams just kind of blindly banned what they didn't want to go for. And somehow just ended up on Chalet somewhat accidentally. I definitely think that the stats for a newly thrown together team are always difficult to discern properly, and it definitely means that just the pool of information that we have on 2.0 champs is going to be quite small. It's gonna be difficult to gauge if maybe they just had a bad day on Chalet or something like that. And for, I mean, NXT, sure, they like their Chalet. Of course, they're gonna be willing to go to it if it's not being banned away from them. So they just move through this ban phase comfortably. A lot of maps taken out here that I feel like wouldn't have suited their playstyle, and instead, going to a Chalet, a bit more of a standard one. Um, Over Clubhouse. I think both these maps at the moment are the two most similar ones we have in the pool since Oregon is out now. Uh, so looking forward to it. I think this is going to be a clash of entry fights. This is going to be an important game of who can win their opening engagements, who can play the better trade game, and
What do you
I'm not
think?
really convinced yet. Yeah. Ask,
Because
ask
no,
away.
because I was thinking about the operator bans and if they would affect how would this map be played.
I think the most important thing is I don't think that 2.0 champs have a Monty player anymore, so I could see a Monty being banned out. At least from what I'm aware of, they might love the Mon app, but I think they might ban it out instead. Which means that we're not going to see that much space being taken. Monty is very good at taking control of, for instance, library or just pushing into the building in general and taking up a lot of space. Very good operator at the moment. I think that might get banned out, and we might have to rely on raw gunfights that might happen on a lot of the windows. It's difficult to get into the map on Chalet, and if you get a foothold in the map, it's difficult for the defenders to hold you off for, let's say, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes if you get in early. So defenders have to play quite aggressively, except for basement. Basement is like the only exception, I think, where you can let the enemy in the building a bit quicker. So it's going to be about a lot of like opening engagements, a lot of fights very early on. And I think regardless of operator bans, I don't think that the execute is going to be as important as just gunplay. You got to pick what you're comfortable with, and you got to find the right fights at the right time.
I think, to be honest, I'll tell you something. I don't think. Okay, this is going to be a hot take. I don't think Monty is one of the operators is that is suitable for a map like Chalet. Let me tell you why. Because Chalet, all of the areas that you can take control of, such as library, such as solarium, everything, you need to go in through a window most of the time, if you think about it. Because solarium, you need to go through the window or through the stairs. And how can you go through the stairs? You need to go through trophy window. And library, there is two windows you can go through. Games, one window and the doors. So having Monty needing to collapse his shield to go in and then fully extend his shield is going to not be as advantageous as you would think, because it's not going to help you take the full advantage of Monty.
Yeah, fair enough. I also like. I kind of agree with that point that Monty isn't the best for this map, but the current meta just favors Monty so much that I
True.
don't really think it matters which map you pick.
Yes.
Like the Monty is just going to be useful on some maps more than on others. But very quickly, let's also get into the predictions, and we have a sweep across the board.
Wow, this is interesting. I think now we might we're either all going to be correct, or we're either all of us going to be very wrong, and it's going to be it's going to be funny seeing if we're all just said something like that and we just like everyone decided, wow, okay, we decided to be wrong in this game.
Well, I didn't expect it to be such a landslide. I picked NXT because I just wanted to spite Keppa. I did it specifically for the purpose of voting against Keppa. Just randomly preying on a man's downfall for no reason because it's funny. Why did I do it? It was funny, Your Honor. But yeah, I didn't expect it to be such a blowout. The fact that everyone went with NXT on a prediction, I feel like this is going to be a closer game than our predictions are telling us. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see when we get into the map itself, when we get into Chalet, to see how NXT starts shaping up in the first few rounds, and maybe then we can evaluate if we were wrong at all or not. Because at the moment, I'm seeing a clear trend.
Yeah, I think this is going to be very important to see what will happen between both of the teams, because such score can be very changing, because the vote is, as we see, one-sided, and it's going to be a little bit problematic if we're all wrong. It's going to be funny, to be honest.
Yeah. But once again, we're in the first like Playday. We haven't seen a lot of these teams. A lot of these teams are coming fresh, invited into the first division of this league. So we have a lot to look forward to. We've got a lot to look at, and I think we're going to be wrong in the first, 2, 3 play days before we get a good judge of character for some of these teams. Before we start, developing some sort of favorite. Because I mean, look at the game today. The Beşiktaş game. It was way closer than I expected it to be. I thought Beşiktaş was going to run away with that uh, a bit easier, but instead they almost lost. They almost lost their game to RIZON, and that shows that RIZON is very capable of putting up a fight like that. And so this now throws RIZON into the mix for the competition to say, okay, well, maybe we favor RIZON a bit more. We'll have to wait and see how that develops as we see, at least most of the teams play today in these 3 games that we have. And we'll have to wait and see in the coming play days, once we get a chance to really get a good look at everyone, to see whether or not we can trust our predictions with NXT, or maybe if starting with Playday 2, we have to start switching up.
Yeah, that will. Of course, the more games that we have, it's going to be more telling us of what the teams look like, and who is the stronger team, and who is the team that is struggling more than often. And maybe Team Beşiktaş falls later on, maybe Team Ryzen falls later on, and maybe other teams decide to do something that we don't expect, and we didn't put into account. So with all of that aside, now we will be going into the game that we've been waiting for, the second game of today, Team NXT and Team Rank 2.0 champs. Let's see the map, the operator bands between the teams, and see what are the teams thinking about. First ban, I think probably going to be Dokkaebi or Grim. I think okay. So Grim is a good ban in my opinion, because he brings a lot of utility. Brings a revolver as like the secondary shotgun pistol. Brings the
What did I
canister.
tell you?
Yeah, of course the Monty has to be banned, but I would favor other bans on the Monty, especially on Chalet. For example, I think Brava would be a better ban. But it seems like Team Rank 2.0 have a different opinion than me. They have a different way of thinking, and they have something they want to uh, not face, which is the Monty. And they will be banning the Azemi as well. So, two good bans. Of course, they're not the. Every team has their own way of thinking. How can they approach a match? So maybe this is how they decided to do it today. And the last ban, of course, no one else, not nonetheless than the Valkyrie.
Yeah, the Valk absolutely getting no love today, as of yet. Second game now that she's been banned out. So Just for a statistic, once again, this is only the second game of the Division 1 so far, but technically, Valk's been banned in every single one. So that's a solid statistic. Same with Monty, by the way. So both of these operators, after 2 matches, have a 100% ban rate. I have to wait and see how that develops at the moment. Just both of them strong enough by the teams to be considered a threat, to be just not worth dealing with. Instead, deciding to take that out, and so at least my initial take on Rank 2.0 was correct. The champs decided to take out the Monty because they don't really have a Monty player in their midst, and like I said, they're going to focus more on mechanical ability, on taking space, on taking fights, and we'll have to see how NXT respond to that. Once again, in the court of 2.0 to start us off.
Yeah, this is going to be a very important half. I would say maybe the first 3 rounds would decide everything, and we have to see what are they thinking and how can they approach such lineup. You can see here the bringing of the castle and the Aruni combo maybe is a little interesting to see, but here we see one of the players is the Legion falls off the board, and this is going to be, as it seems, a fast execution from Team Ranked, and they're already taking control of Bathroom and Solarium. This is very fast execute, and this is going to be a very fast first round from Team Ranked 2.0. Players are swinging left and right, and I don't know what the Ying was thinking about trying to get into here without any players of the defenders noticing, but Team NXT couldn't handle the pressure on them by Team Rank 2.0, and the round goes off so quickly to Team Rank 2.0.
Yep, immediately just starting off explosive. The champs getting into the building very fast. They find one opening pick. I think that was Likes was able to get the opening one, and off of that, they just immediately start snowballing. They take so much control. They get so aggressive, and they overwhelm the forces of NXT. Yeah, there was a plant attempt coming through that was being punished. A bit of a strange position to decide to plant in, but I think that comes with the recklessness of with how fast the champs were moving in, and ultimately, it wasn't really punished because he might have been planting out in the open, but him getting killed gives information on where the last player is, and from there you can convert the 3v1. So ultimately, even if you're dying, you're still being information for the rest of your team, and you can feed that over. So champs starting out exactly as I expected them to, which is very aggressive, very mechanical, just trying to pick gunfights and overwhelm the enemy. And they've done a good job of that, and NXT at the moment not able to keep up with that, and instead choosing to go bar. They don't want to go back to Master just yet. They want to just try something else for now.
Yeah, maybe this is the difference between to them until they decide what can they do overall in the site of Master Bedroom and Office. Maybe they have another plan. Until then, they will just go into the full rotation. Maybe we will wait and see. Of course, here the Twitch is doing so much damage into the lineup of the Team NXT, getting rid of the Fenrir trap and the default cam as well. This is going to be a little bit problematic because now Team NXT needs to be worrying a little bit about the east stairs, and maybe if the Nook comes up of the stairs, or as if I'm saying it, it is the plan actually, and it's going to be a little bit problematic if Team NXT is not noticing. But this is a very important flank. I don't think anyone noticed the rotation
yeah.
from Fenrir.
If it's so funny. I think Radiant and Stax are hunting each other, and both of them are not aware of where the other one has gone. Stax was trying to hunt a player inside of Dining. He had no idea that Radiant has dropped the hatch and gone around, and Radiant is trying to punish Stax, but he has no idea that he's gone up the stairs already, and now he's worried about pushing because there might be a player coming up behind him. So he's just holding still at the moment. So both of these players passing like ships in the night, not aware that, they were fairly close to each other. I mean, they were almost in each other's crosshairs, and Stax now goes down to a player that was closer to site. Neox is able to get that pickup. Does take quite a bit of damage for it, but at least that's the Nuck dealt with. Sheeny is able to find another. Janoski with a third, and immediately it's a 5v2, only down to Legs and Keppa. They've got about a minute to go, and they will have to try and find a lot of kills here. The problem is they don't have a whole lot of space. Frostmat gets taken out by Keppa, but he's caught on the vault in as Janoski gets the second player of the round vaulting into a window. And with that, NXT have adapted beautifully to the aggression from 2.0 and have immediately come to try and counter it, as we have another blowout round, Fancy, but this time it's the other way around.
Yeah, it seems like the same way of playing from team ranked is not favoring them, at least in this round. And it seems Team NXT have had themselves to focus on what is the problem and what is the solution, and they seem to fix their problem quite fast. But it's too early to completely judge, and the round here goes, of course, to Team NXT as we expected, because the last player is taking out, and yeah, now we're back even 1-1 for both of the teams. But as I was saying, this is too early to judge if the problems that we saw in the first round are fixed by Team NXT or not. But it seems like Team Rank 2.0 we're trying to execute as fast as possible, but I didn't see much info. They just try to take control quickly without solid info of where is everyone from the defenders.
Yeah, so two very, very different rounds unfolding, and we may have that trend continue. We may have another round that plays out entirely differently, because we're now inside of the basement, and basement usually known for being a bit slower because there's a lot more space for the attackers to take. Like I said, it's the one exception I think on Chalet where you don't really have to try and take any fights through windows, have to try and take space into the first room that you're trying to get yourself into. You have a lot more just a lot more adaptability on the attack to choose where you want to approach from. And I do see a Maverick Hibana combo, so that tells me that most likely they're going to just try and poke some holes into the main wall. But the primary push most likely is going to come either from backside. I assume that's what the Hibana is for, or at the very least to open up the hatches. And that there's not that heavy of a importance on trying to get Boiler open properly. Because once again, I feel like 2.0 is not playing for a slow execute to get into Boiler in late round. They're probably looking to just overwhelm the site in mid round.
Yeah, it's going to be a problematic if this is how can they do it, and it's going to be a little bit problematic for Team NXT. But Team NXT, one of the players already falls off, which is the Fenrir. It's going to be waste a lot of utility, because now Fenrir is off the board and he cannot switch off or on the rest of his traps. But we can see some of the fights here are taking outside of the site, but the Legion falls off, and this is the overall weird setup for me from Team NXT, because they're focused on other areas that are not usually defender favored in such site, and this is going to be a problem, because you see two of the roamers already lost
Oh
their site.
no!
Oh, this is this is a lot of a problem, because the Maverick failed the Maverick trick and was just sitting on the line that he made himself to just get removed by the Kyle.
And the Kite with the TCSG, all he can see is the little feet of the Maverick standing there, a bit clueless, a bit lost on why the wall hasn't opened for him yet. Maybe he hasn't found the magic words, maybe he hasn't entered the right password, but that wall is staying closed, and Kicks instead goes down. It's still advantage for the champs, and they have a minute to try and go through. Once again, I feel like they're a team that's more favored into trying to play an overwhelming game, to try and dry push into something and see if you can win the gunfight that isn't necessarily favoring you. But Neox is putting a lid on that. Every time he swings, somebody is taking more than 50 damage. Every time he swings, somebody is at risk of losing their lives. And champs, the timer is slowly taken down. They're starting to really, really lose time. And now those smoke canisters coming out as well. This is going to make it difficult. They're forced into late round, and this is not where they excel. NXT now can just hold it down.
Yeah, this is a lot of problems because even though on papers should be the round for team rank 2.0, but they're losing players left and right, and the time is not on their favor, and it's already switching, and they have lost the round. If you looked at the round, it was 5 versus 3, and anyone would look at it normally would think, okay, it's fine. NXT would lose this, and then rank 2.0 would just take the round. But however, just because of one simple thing, the wall of the snowmobile not being opened uh, by the Maverick, everything changed, and that was just enough to make them lose the man advantage that they had, and eventually lose the round.
Not looking good for them here. I think they were forced into just getting funneled down into like that's the point of basement. You need to create new angles because otherwise you're forced down exactly 3 ways to get into the building or into the bomb site rather, and that is from Wine, which was completely ignored the whole round from 2.0. Or you can do it through Blue and Mainstairs, but that was really difficult to find any sort of upper hand position because they left it so late and they took so much time on the main wall because they decided to try a Maverick trick instead of like maybe just taking top floor control and then denying anybody from tricking the wall, throwing an EMP, and then just quickly getting it open with a thermite or something like that. So not bringing a dedicated hard breacher who's capable of opening a big wall quickly, you really shoot yourself in the foot, and that allows that smoke canister to become so important for NXT, who are now finding themselves in the lead for the first time in this matchup after they tied up the score in round 2. And now they're going back to top floor. It didn't work out so well for them the first time around. 2.0 was able to completely overwhelm them very early on off of one opening kill from Lies. So we'll have to wait and see how this round plays out, but I doubt that NXT is going to allow the champs to do the exact same thing as they did last time.
Yeah, we'll see what is the plan, but it seems fairly similar currently for Team Rank 2.0 as they are rappelling on the the Solarium side, and they're focused mainly on that port. And yeah, maybe this is the plan, but it seems like they have changed it a little bit as Team NXT having one person, which is the Legion, in the lobby or in the kitchen dining area and taking control of the floor below the site. But here we see that they're trying to push him off his port, and he already fell back and is returning to the blue side of the map and going back to blue stairs. But he did already his job. He already wasted a lot of time. 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining into the round, and it's a 5 versus 5. This is getting harder for Team Rank 2.0 if they want to execute and if they want to get their round equalized. They should start executing now. But the Hibana loses her life in the meantime and making it even harder for Team Rank 2.0. The Fenrir is doing a lot of damage uh, in its presence only for in the Solarium, and this is going to be slowing them down more and more.
All right, there we go. Finally, an opening pick for the champs. They have been able to shatter the mirror window, got rid of some of that utility up in the corner. But Stax lost a lot of HP for it. He's rotated all the way around. Now there's a goo mine being chucked at him. He has to try and get rid of that. And with 40 seconds left, now there's 2 kills that go in favor of NXT as it is Keza and Stax to go down. And there we go, another player in the frost mat. It's only down to Kepa. He gets cut down as well. And NXT build their lead. They're up 3-1. And the early aggression that came out from the 2.0 champs, they were able to just absolutely overwhelm NXT in the first round. But since then, they've fallen absolutely flat against the defense of NXT, who have entrenched themselves and who've just said, all right, Neox, all you need to do is swing them and absolutely destroy them. They've gotten into the heads of 2.0 champs. And now we have to wait and see if there's some adaptation coming out of the attackers, because currently NXT is starting to run away with it.
Yeah, it seems like Team Rank 2.0 is not doing what we saw from them in the very first round, and it seems like the slow and methodical way of approaching normal attacks is not what they want to do, and when they are forced into it, it becomes very problematic, because from what we see, players go in separately and in different places, and they start falling one by one because there is no info. They don't have enough info to rely on the players taking individual gunfights and or individual areas, and that seems to be a lot of problem for Team Rank 2.0, because the more slow they get, the harder it is for them.
Yeah, absolutely agree with that assessment. They need to be fast, and the more they slow down, the more difficult it becomes, because then they start playing NXT's game, and I think NXT excel at that more than Rank 2.0 champs. So at the moment, just a bit of a tricky situation. You have to somehow pick up the pace, but at the same time, NXT is just trying their hardest to not allow you to do that. So gotta commend the defenders as well. They do play a role here in winning some of these rounds. They are, of course, the ones that are just kind of controlling this flow for the champs, because if they weren't putting up a fight, if they weren't putting all these obstacles in their way, the champs would certainly roll over them. So the moment, just a really good start. And once again, Neox with the opening pick. An absolute nightmare for the champs is just this man alone, Neox, who's just going out on a swing, trying to find these picks, and he's not being traded. He's allowed to run wild, run free, and just get some of these pickups. That's very, very important. As Lags goes down early, that is the Flores off the board, and no more Roteros to try and deal with some of that util. Oh, swing comes out. Neox almost gifted with a second. Cakes takes a lot of damage. I'm telling you, 2.0 champs, you need to worry about this guy. You need to refrag him, and he's allowed to just continue swinging and swinging and swinging. This is ridiculous.
This is a lot of problems, and it's causing them a lot of trouble. Rank 2.0 are not fully aware of how can they approach such attacks, and now they're just throwing themselves, trying to get equalizing and making it advantageous for them, but it's not working at all, because people are just running without enough info. You can see they're just running in, jumping into windows, and nothing is just happening, because they have lost a lot of people and a lot of utility just trying to get into the map, and the flawless round from team NXT, and it's just perfect execution from the defense team, because the moment you lose such operator, which is like a Flores, in the first minute of the round, everything falls apart after that, because Flores really needs to be more careful, because he is the one that they need to rely on getting the shield away, getting more vertical if they want. Everything relies on the Flores in that round specifically, and losing people early on like that is not gonna help them.
And once again, showing the nature of 2.0 champs was just the play that we saw, in the flawless that just ensued for NXT. Kepa jumps into library all by himself, gets cut down, and 20 seconds later, his teammate tries the same thing and also gets punished. And I can tell you exactly what the thought process is for 2.0 champs there. It's hero play. Kepa jumps into library. If he gets 2 kills, then he suddenly establishes complete top floor control, and he's able to turn this entire round on its head, and he just overwhelms NXT. But if he loses that fight, then, well, 2.0 champs get nothing. Absolutely nothing. They're rewarded with one more dead player to watch cams. That's all they get. And I think this is a problem at the moment. They're not banking on refrags because they're just expecting to have the confidence to win those gunfights. And fair enough, if you do win them, you can open up the round. But if not, then RIZON just absolutely shuts you out of the game with a busty spawn peek. And Likes is dead first. Once again, he's been dying early a lot. He's not been allowed into the building, and RIZON gets a second. He shuts down Stacks as well. The Boss G runs wild, and the new meta shift has allowed this gun to thrive once again as he just pushes in, is able to find 2 picks outside the building, and Kepa on the blitz, just rushing in, trying his best to see if he can maybe find a pickup, but he won't be given anything as he walks himself into 2 opponents at the very least. So he gets crossfired. It's only down to Keza, and it's not even been a minute, and it's another flawless round back-to-back for NXT, who are absolutely shutting Rank 2.0 champs out of this, and now they're up, I do believe, 5-1 at the end of this half.
Yeah, it's a complete, I would say, complete domination from Team NXT, because it seems like the team of rank 2.0 that we saw in the first round is non-existent anymore, because the pace is not there, the info is not there. Everyone is just running, as you said, like trying to do hero plays, and that seems to be just the case for every round since then. 5 rounds in a row, Team NXT just takes the control, and Team Rank 2.0, what's their solution? Try to do hero plays. It seems like there's a lot of issues in the attack of Team Rank 2.0, because in the last round, not the round we just saw, but the round before it, I was looking at the drone count and trying to see what uh, what are they doing with their drones. It was only 3 drones or 4 drones left out of the 10 drones, which seems like they're just wasting their drones and they're not getting anything in return. Because if your drones are out of the equation and you're not taking map control and you're still waiting on the windows and still trying to take control, then your drones are good for nothing then.
Yeah, all right. And with that, NXT already only 2 rounds away. I mean, so far, we talked about the predictions being a landslide. Look at the scoreline.
Ooh, that's gonna be a problem for Team Ranked 2.0 in this half.
Resource converted.
All right, a bit of a Maverick trick coming in as EON opens up a little hole over on stock, and Shinny's able to capitalize off of that as they kill, I believe that, yeah, that is the mute inside of the site. So that is that mirror window dealt with, that is that player down, and this Kiss is already on the floor, crawling, bleeding out. He'll have to try and get recovered by Stax, but no, Stax
Oh,
gets punished
no.
instead. Neox is there for it. And that's a double kill for him as he's able to finish off what was left of those 2 players upstairs who were just trying to pick each other up. And now Kix has to fall down as he's being pressured out of this. There's so much utility flying their way. Keppa has no idea what he's supposed to look at because he's flashed, he's stunned, and it's another flawless round. Is this 3 back-to-back flawless rounds for NXT?
Yeah, it seems NXT are just in control and domination of this matchup, and that's already match point, a 6-1 and a 5 rounds lead for Team NXT, and this is total chaos for Team Rank 2.0. They're just all over the map, and they've been running all over the place, and they have not been able to control the aggressiveness, I would say, and the control from Team NXT. And even in this round, we saw the same. We actually saw the same pace of Team Rank 2.0 in the round they won from Team NXT, and it was just so quick. The round even finished before it started.
Yeah, once again, just complete domination by the side of NXT. Even on their attacking half, it seems that it doesn't matter what side they're on, they're still able to just get a complete flawless over onto them. That's not really what you're looking for if you're 2.0 champs. This is supposed to be their debut in the EON League Season 2, you know, in the first division. You're at the highest echelon of gameplay, and at the moment, I'm not really seeing much of why you're supposed to be here, right? It is also about proving yourself. You need to show that, you know, you're competitive inside of Div 1, that you belong here, and so far I haven't seen that out of 2.0. It is mostly NXT that are really just giving us a nice showing here, telling us, you know, why they belong in here. And they may be a little upset about the first round, honestly. It feels like NXT lost a round to a 2.0 champs, and they got quite angry about that. And since then, they haven't lost a single one. This is 6 in a row.
Yeah, it seems to be a lot of problem for them, because also this makes me think if banning Consulate on the verge of getting this map instead, was that worth it? Because we saw that one of their best map is Consulate. This is going to be very crucial for.
Oh no.
Oh no! He gets the kill. Oh, that's catastrophic, because now he's in a really dangerous position, and I don't know if. Okay, they didn't get the kill on him. I think. Oh no! This is going to be a lot of problem.
Stacks! Stacks somehow saving this. It's only down to Kepa. It is Janoski versus Kepa in a 1v1. Kepa has a shield to play around. I don't think there's any way for Janoski into the building other than that doorway. He will have to push through that and he'll be completely exposed. Kepa does have access to that slug. He can do a lot of damage with that thing. It's just about who hits the better shot here. This comes down to this 1v1. Janoski into the site. Here comes a wide swing from Kepa, and he doesn't win it. Janoski instead. And it's a 7-1 despite the big effort from Stacks to try and keep them in this fight in that round. It is instead a 7-1, a complete rollover from NXT, just about as one-sided as our prediction on the desk. And with that, that was a very, very quick game too.
That last round was all over the place because when I saw the bandit and I thought, okay, bandit at first they don't know about him. He will get the kill. He will do the flank. This will be perfect for team rank 2.0. And then the bandit whiffs and everything falls apart. He gets the kill, still gets trapped. Two people try to push on him. They fail and making it harder for them, which flipped the round all over the place for both teams. And then in the end, it was a 1v1. That was all over the place for both teams. But Team NXT takes the game and just decides like, okay, maybe we threw a little bit, but we'll take the map and just get it over with a 7-1.
Hey, I mean, despite, you know, the signs of life that we saw out of 2.0 champs, this was a very comfortable victory for NXT, and I don't think that they really have to concern themselves too much with, you know, the slight mess ups that they've had. This is something that's somewhat negligible. You can look at this, you can incorporate it into your, you know, into your next scrim. You can think about it, but ultimately it was a very decisive victory, and they should start prepping for the next opponent. They can already wave this one goodbye because they now got a +6 on the round difference, which is always important for tiebreakers. And even more importantly, they get themselves 3 points into the league, a good head start to put themselves right at the top of that bracket, of that group. And with that, that's our second game done. We only have one more to go, so we'll be setting that up shortly. This one was quite a quick one, so I think we might have a bit of a break as well, as I'm not sure how it's looking for the other teams that are going to play up next. But very quickly, I will mention the two teams that are going to play up next. Let me pull it up, unless you're faster, Fancy.
Yeah, I do have them, and they are Team Voyage and Team B. It's a synonym. I don't want to butcher the name, so I'll just call them B.
Yeah, the lovely Békéscsabai Esports Egyesület. Great team name, great team name. Love you guys. Yeah, so we'll see these guys up next. Hungarian powerhouse versus Bon Voyage. I think international team. There is at least one French player in there. I'm not sure about the lineup of Bon Voyage. Let me very quickly check. Yes, it is BMS, so Fire, and then they have
two French.
Yeah, two French. So
close enough.
The name fits well enough. So we'll get into the game after the break. For now, we'll go on break very quickly. We'll set up the next game. We'll wait for all the players to be ready. They're scheduled to play at 10 p.m., so it might take a few more moments. Once again, this game was very, very quick. And then we'll be right back after that break to quickly talk through the game. And from there, we'll get into the last match of today to see who can set themselves up for a good first day here on Playday 1 of EON League Season 2 Div 1.
Welcome back, everyone, to our last match of the day. It's going to be between Bon Voyage and Team B, the two teams that we were talking about backstage, and we were waiting to see this matchup finally happen. So, and I think this is going to be a very important match for both of the teams to kick them off into the league, and who would get the points needed in this match today. So we were discussing about this match earlier, Reprints. What do you think we will see in this match overall?
Difficult to judge. I don't have a whole lot of information on Bon Voyage. I do know a bit about B, a team that's been around the block. We know them from the Hungarian scene, from the Hungarian league, the MNEB, which is, I think, about to kick off once again. So we'll take a quick look at their roster as well. I hope that we're looking at B first because I decided to talk about them. Yes, very good. Um, some familiar names in here, a few new ones, but you will notice some very nice color schemes going on here as we've got an all Hungarian team.
Yeah, I've seen Team B before, and I've actually played against them a couple of times because as I have played and coached the team in the MNAB, and I want to say that I'm really impressed because lately I have seen in the end of MNAB last season in the summer, they have been doing some great progress, and they were really doing a great job of improving themselves and overall doing things that that just in a quick amount of time, because they have got third place in the last MNB, and it was really great seeing them overall.
Yeah, all right. And with that, I think we'll also quickly take a look at the other team across the aisle, and that is Bon Voyage. A team with a few French people to give the namesake a reason. And other than that, I think very diverse. Swiss, definitely a name that we should all recognize. And then a few other names that certainly have been, around. I've seen them on a few different roster iterations this time around. They decide to band together under Bon Voyage. We'll have to wait and see how they synergize together because I think that these guys all know each other. The question is, how well can they play together?
Yeah, I think this is going to be very important to see uh, what uh, what this mix of nationalities can do in one combined roster, and it's going to be very important because the communication, I think, is going to be a little hard for such team because the diversity in like in the languages you can see here, like four languages at least overall in the team, and mixing all of that into probably English is going to be a little of a question mark to me.
Yeah, all right. With that, very quickly into the map pick, we do have Border coming up. That's going to be a very, very small and very aggressive map between these two teams. As
Interesting.
Cafe was left open very late, same as Clubhouse, but both of them being banned out in favor of that. So I think we're going to look at a fairly aggressive playstyle. Both of these teams not afraid to go to it. A lot of teams are hesitant to go to Border because, once again, very small, very tight spaces, not a
Not
whole
very
lot to take.
yeah, not very demure map.
Oh God, stop it. And on the contrary, obviously, Night Heaven Bank, Consulate, all going out like early to mid phase of the bans. I definitely think that both of these teams are more comfortable on more compact, tighter maps. Also, B, I can see a trend here of them banning out a lot of the new maps. They took out Night Haven, then Lair, then Consulate, so they really don't want to go to these new and uh, well, quote unquote new. Consulate's been like the rework's been in the game for a while now, but it's still in the pool, one of the newer maps and also a very big map. So deciding to get rid of all of these already shows us that be not afraid to go to a small map. That's something that they prefer. So Border, not a bad pick for them. For Bon Voyage, we'll have to wait and see. But I think that Bon Voyage have some very good gun capabilities. So we'll look forward to that.
Yeah, we have to wait and see till the map starts. But now we have a divide, almost a split into the voting. So me and you said B, so we're not gonna fight, sadly this time. but we can fight our spectator who said that Bon Voyage is going to win. So if you guys see that the spectator is little bit going into Bon Voyage more than Team B, we know why. Just saying. And
Uh,
yeah, it seems like the production guys are saying it's Bon Voyage, so I guess it's caster versus production.
All right. And with that, I think we should be able to get straight into the match as the operator ban phase will kick off in just a second. Got everyone in. We've got Border coming up. Looking forward to this matchup as it seems like for once you and I are united here on the caster desk and we're outnumbered by everyone else around us. The management, we've got even our observer turning against us for this last game. So far, I've been right on my predictions. I hope to stay that way. I did predict B. I hope it stays that way because if not, then it'll be our observer unnamed who goes 3 for 3, and I don't like losing.
Yeah, we'll see what they have planned for us, both of the teams. Hopefully, they don't disappoint us and making it 2 out of 3 at least for me, because Team Beşiktaş love to destroy the things the my prediction, and maybe it's time for them to for another team to fix my prediction, and hopefully I don't go on a 1-3 here. And yeah, default bans here: Monty, Ying, nothing
Oh,
too much. This
well,
is an
you spoke too
interesting
soon.
this is an interesting ban, especially for a map like Border, because Castle is one of the most operators that are played in such map, because the way he can shape both floors of the map, and especially top floor, is very important. And of course, we ended up with a default kite ban, which I don't really see I use of too much in a map like Border, except for maybe one site. But I have to see what are they doing. But I see here Scopus. Oh, okay. Because I remember it was banned, and they changed. I guess they remembered as well in the last second, and they changed it to a Valkyrie. Sadly, we're not gonna see a Scopus because she is quarantined due to some technical issues from with the spectators all over the leagues. So we will have to wait on her a little bit and see her maybe later in the season, maybe later in SI or the major. We'll wait on that for later. But for now, we are starting our match between Team B and Team Bon Voyage. I'm really excited to see what both teams here have to offer, because this is going to be interesting, and it already seems so from banning an operator such as the Castle.
Yeah, I remember the castle ban was somewhat popular on Border actually. Like I want to say 3 or 4 seasons ago, I think it was NA that took another good look at Border and made some new strats and some new ways to try and develop the map. And they did that, I think, using Azami and Castle to just completely reshape the map. And that Azami thing has stuck around. It's kind of just the way that everybody plays CCTV nowadays, and you can see Shundi doing exactly that at the moment. But the castle thing didn't really stick because people just decided to start banning it, and then the teams lost all of their strats. I'm speaking from some of my own experience here. The castle got very popular, then it started getting banned on Border, and then people stopped using him and just kind of forgot about it. So I'm wondering if Bon Voyage are just choosing
This is
a very
fast execute.
well, they're trying to go for a fast execute, but the player's been forced back. They were trying to go for a plant. First C4 comes out, gets wasted, but Venom's is gone. There's a lot of gunfighting happening, and MD is able to find 2 kills as Steely finds 1 for himself. But I'm a little confused on what that execute was. They used both of the smoke bolts on the Capitao, and they didn't stick the plant.
Yeah, it seems like that team B is taking control of the round a little bit, but they have wasted their advantage by making it a 3 versus 3, and they are now a little bit in trouble because they are losing their advantage a little bit. Uh, but it seems like Team Bon Voyage are trying to still stick to their plant idea, and already Osa is planting, and the
Ooh.
cover is dead, and Osa is forced off the plant, and it's a 2v2. This is very tricky and
MD,
very
Jesus.
risky.
He's really trying to go for the Steely now with a quad kill. He just needs one more to get the ace. I think MD is also on a triple, if I remember correctly, as now the plant is coming through. He drops down. Does he get this opportunity? Yes. He denies the plant for now, at least. This is going to force Venoms to go somewhere else. The problem is Venoms can now go deep into sight. He can choose a safer plant position, and he chooses to plant on the concrete. Now his teammate has to try and cover from the other side. MD goes down to low HP. He's on a quad now as well. Falls off the plant once again. No, he's not able to do it. It's Venoms to take it instead. Two people with a quad. Both of them have their ace denied. And it is just about Bon Voyage who take the first round.
Oh, wow, what a hectic first round to start our last match for today. This is going to be a very hectic match. I can tell already from seeing how both teams played. Bon Voyage was trying super hard to stick to their plant and their idea of planting on the east side and on the archives. This was all over the place for them, and the Osa having like she was forced off the off and off the plant multiple times, and the team B couldn't take the advantage of going below and trying to kill the planter, which is the Osa, in that regards, because it was very I think if the Valkyrie would have waited a little bit, and wasn't so rushed, he could have got the planter mid plant and didn't. He wouldn't need to go all over the map and rotate and plant into the concrete area.
Yeah, certainly. A bit unfortunate that he doesn't get the kill right away. It just forces the Osa off the plant, who immediately got off the plant, fell back, got outside the building to make sure they wouldn't die to the vert angle. So once again, also well done by Venoms to just get himself out of that dire situation. But man, what a hectic first round. And immediately following that up, we have B deciding to go, I do believe, yeah, to the same bomb side. And I see a fairly similar lineup this time around. No Osa on the board for Bon Voyage, so certainly that is different. Also, the Capital not being brought out. So it does show me that maybe this time around we're focusing more heavily on CC side and trying to flush Sundi out of this position where he finds himself currently in CC next to this hatch.
Yeah, and we'll wait and see what team Bon Voyage are going to do in this situation, because it's only 2 minutes remaining into the round, and already they have not started their control, and they didn't take too much control of the map. But as I say that, they take 2 and 3 players off the map, and now they are in complete domination of this round, and now they are in complete domination of this the pace of this round. This should be very important round for them, because now they can take it into one more round to their advantage, and making the gap between both of the teams for them is going to be important.
All right, Onyx now finally with the first pick in favor of B. The problem is it's the only one, as at the moment Bon Voyage absolutely rolling over B. And this round a lot more confident, not as close as the other one, certainly. And that's a 2-0 lead for the attackers now on border. And this is exactly what's important. This is what I talk about. The moment they get a foothold inside the building, it's basically over for the defenders. You have to try and shut them out. And B have done a decent job of that, or, well, not even B, rather just MD specifically. The player MD did a good job of that in the first round, shutting the enemies out of the building and keeping them away from the bomb site. But this time around, it really fell apart. Bon Voyage was given too much space in the building. They took big advantage of that. And so this now gives them a 2-round lead. And they're hoping to continue building this. And if B don't adapt, I think that may just be the case.
Yeah, we have to see what team B are trying to do in this round. Maybe this round could be the change for them, and it could be also the
It could be.
more. Could be. What could it be if B decides to do in this round with the traps they have, and also the Capcan and the Frost and the Echo, this is going to change or destroy. Depends on how Team Bon Voyage played, because I see the Brava, and this is going to change everything in this round if the Brava is used in the right way, because there is a lot of utility on the board that can be hacked, but Deimos off the board, making it a little bit harder for Team Bon Voyage.
Classic Swiss. All right, getting taken out of the game very early on. Swiss goes down. That means none of the demo scans can be used. That is, of course, crucial for the roam, as now B is able to aggressively roam and not be punished for it, not be live tracked and maybe shot through the floor unexpectedly. That's now not something they have to concern themselves with. Of course, the Brava is still in play, Fancy, and I think you pointed it out correctly. It's going to be very important if they can find any of those Valk cams. That might just turn the information advantage all the way around. And so even without access to the Demos and his potential little drone, you can still get a lot of information off of that if you use it right. Same also with the Capcan. That is going to be a big one. And even the Echo cams, as the Echo currently droning, BMS should be able to feed that information over to his teammates, but he's also looking for this yokai. He wants to hack it.
Just hack something. You have, there is Capcan cams, there Capcan traps, and there is Val cams, and there is Echo, and you're just watching the info. They're not using the utility correctly, but Team Bon Voyage is apparently deciding to
This
just
live
take.
info is so good. But what
Take
can they
into
do
a-
with this?
They're just okay. I guess they do that because they're just trying to take control with the gunfights, and they are doing it. They're just running all over the map.
I can't believe Victoria ceiling banged the guy up above him while he was involved in another fight with BMS. BMS is able to go for the trade, leaving it only down to White, who's now in a 1v2 as he finds one more to make this a bit more doable. But there's another player upstairs that he has to try and find, and Venoms gets that long angle from all the way upstairs on that new catwalk. He's able to shut down this round, and that is the attackers taking their third. But that was a bit of a messy take into Workshop. I can't believe the Echo got away with that one kill before he was shut down.
Yeah, it seems like Team Bon Voyage are not playing the intel game, and they're just trying to play the gunfight game, and somehow it worked because that live info of that one Bravo drone gave them all the things they needed. And now we're seeing Team B trying once again into the same site with the same, almost same combination of, but now we don't have the Frost, and now we don't have the Valkyrie as well. So a little bit of a change from Team B on the lineup. Maybe this is going to be different, and who knows? We'll see what are they planning. Maybe this round could be different, and try to get that 3-3 half before the switch.
Definitely still doable to turn this around for B. It could just be a slow start. We did see that, I think in the first game of today, right? It was Beşiktaş who had a decently slow start, and then they got themselves into it later on. So I definitely think that that's something that, you know, you might have to consider. Some of these teams maybe not made for BO1 competition, so getting themselves into this sometimes is a bit of a struggle. As speaking of struggle, Victoria not really sure what buttons to press to get that yokai to move, but we'll get there. We'll figure it out.
Let's see what are they planning, because now Deimos is at this round is still alive, unlike the last round. He's not taken out early. Maybe the Legion here is going to stop the Deimos in his tracks again, and he doesn't know about him. I don't think they know about each other, except now they do.
Oh no. Yep,
The
Onyx had
Deimos-
absolutely no idea.
Well, at least Ademus is alive in this round, and maybe he could change the outcome of the round and make it still in the favor of. Oh, does he? Does yeah? The IQ sees the vigil, and this is going to be very crucial. But the the Demus doesn't care, and he's just walking into workshop and he's trying to get as much as possible, and he did, making it a 4 versus 2 for Team Bon Voyage.
All right, White now with another swing, able to take down Venoms. There's at least one more, but it's all down to MD, and he gets caught before he's even able to drop the hatch. This is Bon Voyage already up 4-0. Absolutely relentless with B at the moment is my prediction. Actually, our prediction, Fancy, is not looking too good.
I would like to ask a timeout for Team B, guys. Can I just leave the casting for a second and talk with Team B, because there is a lot of things here on stake, and we need to figure out what's happening. And it seems like Team B is not able to stop the play style of Team Bon Voyage, because as it seems like Team Bon Voyage are playing heavily on the info, just walking their drones and getting the info as much as possible, and then just going for kills. And it seems like there is not enough answer from Team B to that. Yes, they're getting the Echo, and yes, yeah, they're getting the Legion and the Capcan, but doesn't seem like this is what they need to do. It seems like they need to figure out something different, and they seem to not be able to find out what exactly it is.
Finding that little magical piece that is stopping you from winning some of these rounds, it is the most difficult thing to do, because it is sometimes just the small things. Sometimes it's just a little error on communication, a little error on the playstyle. If they don't find that, they're going to get shot out here very quickly. We might just have another very quick game on our hands, as the previous one on Chalet ended rather quickly. So moving into this one, of course, hoping that just for the sake of competition, are able to put up a bit of a fight, maybe chain together a round or two. And well, actually, doesn't start too bad. Shunti's able to take down Venoms. That is the Blitz that who was trying to go aggressively early on, but he gets punished for it. I do see a glass, so definitely thinking about an execute-based style, maybe trying to get some smokes down to cover that Blitz, but that's already off the table. You've already lost that operator.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of trouble for them, because now players are falling left and right, and Team Bon Voyage are in a bit of trouble. It seems like only two players are in the map, and still they are still rotating, and they're still trying to find out how can they walk through the lineup of Team B. But it doesn't seem to be working here for them currently, at least in this round. Maybe it will be a 4-2 half, but it's still early a little bit to say what can happen here, as it's still 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining. A nade is thrown, and he doesn't move, but when he decides to move, and he is being cornered, and now the Demus is doing the track and trying to find the player, and the player is not even giving him the attention and not even trying to fight with him.
Swizz trying his best to see if he can get somebody through the floorboards, and finally he's able to connect onto Victoria. Ashundi is there for the trade, leaving it in a 1v2, but he gets tagged up heavily once again. He vaults himself directly, unknowingly, into a crossfire. And I see this every single round. The last player alive for the side of B just walks themselves into an angle that they're not aware of and gets absolutely shut down. And that tells me that B is lacking information. They're walking themselves blindly into situations that they should not be. And we see that, not B, Jesus. And we see that a lot with the last remaining player alive. There's just too much confusion on the field. They don't know where their enemies are. They're not sure which way they're supposed to look, which way they're supposed to walk. And that is punishing them heavily here, as I think their opponents, Bon Voyage, much more in control of the map, much more in control of the information game. They usually know which way to look and where their opponent is, and that is a really big advantage when you're trying to take a gunfight.
Yeah, it seems like, as you said, it seems like Team B are not aware of the situation, and they are not aware of where are the last players of Team Bon Voyage, and that was just all over the place, because if you have the info and you had the advantage, you wouldn't do the things that Team B was doing, because you are the defenders. You don't need to do anything except sit around and just wait for them to come to you, because they have to plant in the end, and that's the goal. They either do it with plants or do it with time and try to get the kills. But if you have the advantage and have the man count, that shouldn't be a problem for you.
Right, and with that, B, they need to get at least one round here if they want to avoid match point for now. They're already down 0-5. Let's not make it worse. Let's see if we can at least win one round of this half. As White is able to open this up, takes down Steely. That's a good opening pick for the defensive side. If they can keep this up, if they can maybe maintain their man advantage for a bit longer, as another gunfight ensues. White takes a lot of damage as Swiss tries to fight him. Runs away. Swiss on the chase, not able to get that pickup. But he does do a lot of damage. Does get healed though. White just immediately restored to full HP, so doesn't really have to worry about that. But the risk taking there for White was still definitely something that could cost B later on, as taking some of these fights and moving around the map as recklessly as they do is getting them punished by players like Swiss. Now MD is able to find his second. That's Venom's down for the count as well. Now finally the first one in favor of Swiss once again. He catches people out in positions where they shouldn't be. Sundi goes down. That is the Azami off the board. And with about a minute and 45 left, they now... Ooh, they do get that mirror window. That's important. MD does lose his powerful position, has to move up, play more aggressively, and that might just get him punished. I have to wait and see. Swiss at the moment tracking still. Has to be worried about a player down below who just goes for a prone angle, stands back up. I'm not sure. White doesn't know how he wants to take this fight himself. But he continues trying to challenge. The problem is, Swiss was holding that angle, but White absolutely shuts him down on that. Finally does get punished. Discount is there for a bit of a late trade, leaving us into a 3v2. Still advantage for B. Once again, all they have to do is hold on to this, but these rounds are so chaotic and they're so back and forth. Voyage is not allowing them any breathers.
Well, they need to start playing a little bit more passive if they need to. If they want to win this round, at least making it a 5-1 half. But
the timing.
The timing. He just missed him, but he knows the info about him. They know the info, and now they're trying to get him off the position, and he's already off the position. Nades left and right, and they know where he is, and they're trying to just focus on getting that kill, but he runs away and making it harder for Team Bon Voyage to get this round, and it's just 25 seconds remaining into the round. Team Bon Voyage are trying to face check everything, and now they're just...
Oh, no way. No way. MD got injured behind the copying machine and he immediately picks himself up. That dock stim absolutely coming in clutch as it keeps it in a 3v3 with full health. He does lose the second gunfight to BMS as well, but it's only down to BMS. As Onyx is able to find Discount. Victoria inside of the bomb site, finally able to close that out. And it won't be a flawless half, as finally B have entered the game. And they avoid match point for now. It is 1-5. They have a long way to go, but at the very least, they're able to find one round for themselves inside of this half. And now they get a chance to try and storm this back, to try and fight back on the attacking side. But I am a little worried for them because so far we haven't seen much out of them.
Yeah, maybe we'll see what they have in store for us in the second half. Maybe the defense for them was not the answer, and that could be the problem. And switching to attack, Team B might have something that is stored and know how to come back, because 4 rounds in border attacking is not hard to do. You just need to know what you're doing, and you just need to do it in correct steps, because once you start messing up the steps, it will just fall apart.
And falling apart is exactly what we don't want to have happen at the moment. So just looking for an opportunity to get themselves a few easy rounds to kick this whole thing off. And it'll be a struggle on attack because you're the ones that are, you know, in charge of pushing forward. You're the ones that have to do something because the defenders have a 6th man, and that 6th man is the clock. If they can play around the timer well enough, then Bon Voyage will be able to win it out as well. And on top of that, on border, they can play aggressively. They can go unpunished just trying to swing outside the building, because ultimately it's just kind of how this map plays out. So people have to be very careful that they don't take a gunfight at the wrong time, that they don't overexpose themselves somewhere where they shouldn't. But I was going to say they have better information, they have better control of the map when they're on the attacking side, because they know what they gain control of. But immediately Swiss is there to punish 2 players. This is going to make it really difficult for B to try and fight into this round, as he was able to swing out behind a mirror window, get 2 kills, and then immediately drop back behind the mirror window. So he hasn't given up any space. He's still in here, and MD goes down to him as well. Swiss with a 3rd. He might be able to confirm this onto MD. I'm not sure yet, as a phone call rings out, but this is looking all but done and dusted for this round already. This looks very difficult for B to try and fight back into, as Swiss, there we go, he's finally able to confirm that pickup. And he tries to take a fight with White as well, who's jiggle peeking him, but he takes so much damage and he gets crossfired from BMS outside the building. This is exactly the aggression that they needed to avoid, and it's a flawless round for Bon Voyage on the half switch, and they put themselves onto match point now, 6-1. We're looking at another really quick game here, Fancy.
Yeah, it's a very big control from Team Bon Voyage, and the overall flawless defend round is just putting them in the right direction. Team I read them and I saw Beşiktaş, and Team B is not is not yet into the game and didn't find exactly what they're looking for. And I was looking at the drone count again, and the drone is just there was 6 drones left. So this is a problem, because if you still have 6 drones and you're still losing because you don't have info, what is the cause? What's the use of the drones? You need to use your drones for info and not just to keep them. You're not saving them for economy. They're not gonna give you extra cash the next round to get more weapons or something.
Yeah, definitely at the moment a concern. But I mean, at what point do you say too little too late? At the moment I'm just questioning, like, the attacking approach for B was just try and find a player, see what we can do about that, and Swiss was like, you found me, now what do you do? And kills 3 players. What do you do about that? You have no way of trying to pinch him. He is tucked inside of office. You needed to open up the wall, then get rid of that mirror window, then try to flush him out with a nade and a crossfire peek from a player jumping into a window behind him at the same time. And none of that happened. That's like 4 steps that you need to do to dislodge that one player. And B instead just decided, let's try face checking this guy like 3 times. And of course it didn't work. So very concerning that they're trying to just go for raw gunfights, as Bon Voyage is playing entrenched positions and aggressing from these entrenched positions. They're not scared of taking a gunfight. Just because they play strategically doesn't mean that they can play aggressively as hell. And Swiss is absolutely proving that, as he once again gets the opening pick. That's the Finka down for the count early again. This is not looking good for B.
This is going to be a little bit problematic, as losing the Finka and losing one of your entry players early on, and now you're trying to get into the execute phase and not knowing enough about where are the players of Team Bon Voyage and the setup of the defenders. But here is 1 kill for Team B, and the pulse here can be catastrophic. Oh no. Yep, he gets the kill, and of course, because the players are not aware of such operator that they're playing the pulse, because not enough drones saw him in the prep phase, made it a little bit problematic. Now it's a 4 versus 3 for Team Bon Voyage to close this match. Will they be able to do it, or not yet?
Alright, Discount shoots a drone, tries to push up. Has to be careful. He doesn't overexpose himself, because he really doesn't need to. There's a big cushion for Bon Voyage to try and work around, so just run away with your life. Another C4 goes off. This time around doesn't catch anyone, but surely the PTSD has to be kicking in for B, as they've already lost at least 1 player to those C4s. Gotta be worried about them. Onyx from up top with 40 seconds left, just trying to see if he can get anyone on these long angles. But once again, Bon Voyage don't need to peek any of this. They can just stay back. They can play the late game now, and they're doing so successfully. Some drone work coming in. You were critiquing the drone work from B because they weren't using them sufficiently. And once again, they have 3 drones up. but it's so late in the round. They just have to try and execute. Look at where the diffuser is. It's so far away. If MD dies here, this round is over, no matter who wins their gunfights. He has to try and survive this. And no, he gets taken out. Steely, he's able to get that kill. It's a 3v2, no diffuser in hand. 4 seconds to play. Yes, Onyx gets a kill, but does it mean anything? It does not. Bon Voyage is able to win this one. Another 7-1 stomp on our very first playday inside of Div 1, as some of these matchups are giving us clear favorites. And Bon Voyage absolutely running away with this border game. It is BMS MVP. It is a deserved second place for Swiss because a lot of aggression coming out from him as well, especially on the defensive half. So some really good work done by Bon Voyage. They deserve their win here. Full 3 points. They go and set themselves up on the standings right next to NXT. And this will be a matchup in the coming days. NXT versus Bon Voyage. Can't wait to see that game.
Yeah, definitely. This is starting to show up who are the favorites to be on the top of the leaderboard for this division, at least from the first day. Maybe it's a little early to conclude who will be the very first of this leaderboard. But of course, there are few contenders that might be able to snatch that position. And as we said, like this is still early. There's a lot of teams going to be facing each other, and you don't know. Maybe there is one result of one team will make it upsetting to the other team and switches the table standing all over the place. So yeah, very very big match today from Bon Voyage, showing a clear dominance over Team B, and maybe this was just a rough day for Team B.
Yeah, and with that analysis out of the way for this last game, that is all the games that we have for today. We do have a bit more to talk about when it comes to, of course, not just Division 1. We'll take a look at the standings in just a moment, but we're also going to go and just very quickly remind you that this is just Div 1. This is the top of the competition of EON, but there is 2 other divisions, and I had the pleasure of casting the last chance qualifiers for some of the teams making it into Div 2. So there's more matches to look forward to. And Division 2 starts off on Saturday at 18 Cest. It's going to be similar to today, hopefully with all 5 games, unlike today where we've only had 3 of them because, once again, Spirit had to reschedule. Melilla did forfeit their first game against Lays Dogs. So already some shifts happening before we got started today. But with these 3 games out of the way, we get a good glimpse into how these teams might shape up. And we have a decent look at the standings once again. We'll throw that up as soon as we're ready. But in the meantime, any more comments you have about, honestly, not just this last game, but any of the games, Fancy, from today?
Well, I have to say, still, because it's just the first day, maybe some teams are still not into their 100% shape, but this is, of course, a little bit of a problem because teams need to be on their top performance every day. So hopefully, we see more of the teams that didn't win today, and to show not just to us but to everyone that they deserve to be here in the Div 1 and they deserve to be here in the best league of the 3 divisions.
Yeah, they will have ample of time to prove that later on, even if they weren't successful today, because once again, we're in single round robin, so you'll get plenty of chances to fight a multitude of different opponents. And with that, I do think we've got a quick look at the standings. And there we go. I do believe No Minis is who is formerly known as Lays Dogs, so that is the forfeit win. That's why it says 7-0. And now Bon Voyage, NXT, they both take second and third. They're tied up, same score, same round difference, 3 points for them. Beşiktaş win in overtime, RIZON secure at least 1 point. And then at the bottom, of course, we have our 3 losers of today, our 3 losers ranked 2.0. We've got Békéscsabai and why did I try to pronounce that? And
Mm.
Melilla Titans at the very bottom, once again due to that forfeit. So already, I think we have a decent order. This is still going to shake up, definitely. I don't think it's going to stay like this for the rest of the league. It's too early to tell that, but I think this gives us a good glimpse of who might be some of the stronger teams going into this.
Well, we'll wait and see because I hope from all of the teams that we see more of them in the next matches and still as we said, this is just the beginning of the division.
Yeah, definitely. I think point to mention and really drive home here is the first match of the day, Beşiktaş and RIZON. I think that both of these teams, the reason this match was close is because they're similar in skill value. So it's interesting to see how they will shape up against other opponents, because I feel like they will be fairly strong.
What do you think of the first, the first three? What do you think can happen when they face each other? Do you think it's going to be as one-sided as we saw today, at least, or do you think it's going to be a mix?
Oh, I definitely think I doubt that we're gonna for the top three. I doubt we're going to see 7-1s. Like I'll throw it out there. No 7-1s, no 7-0s. We might see a 7-2, but I'm saying it's not going to be a complete blowout. Like there can be confident victories, but I definitely think that they all have what it takes to be toward the top of the standings. NXT proved that with how they immediately rebounded and just chained together 7 rounds in a row. Voyage proved that with how they absolutely dominated a household name inside of T3, which is Esports. Uh, and I mean, Lays Dogs is a strong team, but they haven't actually played yet. They're at the top of the standings because they got a free win today.
Yeah, so maybe Team Numinis will not get as lucky as today. You guys have to wait and see the rest of the matches in this division. And with that said, we are done for today. Sadly, we didn't have all the games, sadly, for today to show, as Reprint said earlier. Hopefully, next time we will have our all of our games. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Any last words you would like to say, Reprints?
Absolutely not. You can sign off if you want. I'll give you the honors.
Well, thank you so much for being here with me, Mr. Reprints, and thank you so much for people who stuck around watching all the three matches for today. And we will see you in the next one.